Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Man, NFL making moves yesterday. We got reports about Brock Purdy's contract, reports on the Dallas Cowboys. But we're curious about one free agent quarterback and where he'll land. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Pearl, it's all about Sam Darnold right now, not franchise tagged by the Minnesota Vikings. And listen, Darnold is a little beauty in the eye of the beholder because I think that the jury is out for a lot of people on whether or not he can be a difference maker on a team that doesn't have the weapons of Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, and maybe doesn't have the brain of Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, who's clearly got a knack for offense. So I think this is where Darnold maybe might have a little bit of trouble this offseason. But if you're looking for a young option, and if you're looking for a guy who did just put up some really nice numbers, well, Sam Darnold is sitting right there now because, again, the Minnesota Vikings did not apply the franchise tag yesterday. That's the news, so he's a free agent.
Yeah, it amazes me, Maggie, to be honest, that the Raiders and Giants are not going to go after Sam Darnold. They're going to go after Aaron Rodgers, for example, who's 41, coming off an Achilles heel, or that the Raiders will, I don't know what the Raiders are going to do. Raiders will go for Kirk Cousins or someone. And then you got the Jets with Tyrod Taylor, possibly. Yeah. Obviously, the Jets can't get Sam Darnold back because he failed there as a draft pick.
Yeah, it didn't go well.
It's just shocking me that the market is so low. It feels like Sam Darnold is going to get a 1-year, $35 million deal, or 30, because based on yesterday, the Vikings did not tag him, which would have been $40 million a year. Between 40 and 41.
Yeah.
They must have not thought that the market's going to bear $40 million a year. They must have known that the Raiders and the Giants are not interested. What happened? I understand he had 2 bad games. Are they really judging Sam Darnold on 2 bad games, just like you did at the end of the season?
I was going to say, I am.
I think the NFL is thinking exactly like you were, because after those games, you said, wow, I wonder if Sam Darnold is a franchise quarterback. And I think the NFL is right with you.
Well, listen, it's not just about those 2 games, although they were bad. I mean, you lose to the Detroit Lions. The score is 31-9. You went 18 for 41 in that game with no touchdowns, no picks. And then against the Rams, a team, think about the Rams. The Rams were coming into that game where they had to move the game because of the wildfires in Arizona. Can't even imagine, California, pardon me. They'd move the game to Arizona. All that swirling around, a million distractions. And the Rams blew them out 27-9. Darnold a little better, 25 for 40 for 245 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But he also got sacked 9 times in that game. He was a sitting duck back there. Well, and he didn't help his team win.
Yeah, that line did fall apart because of injuries, too.
Well, clearly, but everything's not going to be perfect all the time. And, that's the life in the NFL. So can Sam Darnold, when it actually matters, can he elevate your team? And I think we got a resounding answer to that, which was no. And so that's where I feel like Darnold is a little screwed here. Now, the interesting part to me, and you say this a lot, and I want to give you full credit, which is the one thing you really want in the NFL is flexibility. Yeah. Would I rather pay Sam Darnold a big number for 1 year than sign on for 3 years of Sam Darnold? I'm doing the 1 year thing because Darnold to me is not new around here. And he may have gotten a bad shake at the New York Jets, but he's been in the league for 7 years, Pearl. Like, he's been around, and we got 1 great season. Feels like the anomaly. I'm not ready to dive in and say, all right, here's 125 guaranteed, and I have you for 3 years, which kind of hamstrings me if I want to go do something else at QB.
Oh, man, I think you're exactly right. But you say that he doesn't elevate a team. Are we really looking at guys who elevate teams anymore? The Jets are starting Tyrod Taylor at quarterback next season.
Well, they're idiots, though. I'm just kidding.
The Raiders started Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew last year, and guess what? They don't have a quarterback on the roster now. I don't understand. We're not at the elevate the team level anymore. There are a bunch of teams that need a quarterback, and Sam Darnold can make throws that a lot of these guys cannot. And he is athletic. I know you said he was a sitting duck, but he much more. I remember coming out of college, he ran like crazy at USC. So I don't understand the downside of Sam Darnold. I think people thought Kevin O'Connell was doing the work, as you sort of just alluded to, in Minnesota, and he was throwing to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. I just think he's so much better than these other options. I don't understand what these other teams are going to do. All of a sudden, you look at the draft, There's Cam Ward, and nobody likes Shedeur Sanders anymore. So there's nobody to draft. There are all these teams in quarterback desert with 7 or 8 teams that are just going to do nothing at quarterback. The Steelers are going to re-sign Justin Fields, who they benched last year. The whole thing is very confusing to me.
Yeah.
I can't understand why the market for Darnold isn't just a little bit more robust.
Yeah, it's funny. When we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I said Darnold to the Steelers. I thought, okay, this is something that stabilizes, but new information over the last couple weeks, which is that Shedeur Sanders is dropping in the draft. And Dane Brugler, who does one of the draft nicks for The Athletic, who's really come on the scene because he writes this really, really informative pre-draft piece called The Beast, which you can really learn a lot about all these draft picks. He has Shedeur dropping to the Steelers. So well, now I'm a little intrigued by that. Suddenly, Darnold doesn't look so good because if there is a shot that I could get Shedeur, well, I'd probably rather roll the dice on a younger guy. And if he's got a similar type of skill set and he can complete the passes and he's just a system guy, I'll go with the younger, cheaper version. I'm looking around the league about where Sam Darnold could possibly start, right? Because you're coming off of a season when you win 14 games, even though they crushed him for the last 2. He probably is thinking I'm a starter in the NFL. I don't see a lot of obvious ones except maybe Minnesota. Because you don't know the state of J.J. McCarthy's knee, and neither do I. And I think maybe they do, maybe. But how long is the knee even going to hold up? They obviously need to have a good plan B, or maybe Darnold's the plan A and J.J.'s the plan B. It's actually Minnesota that makes the most sense. But again, I don't want to dive into a 3-year deal when I've got this quarterback I spent a top 10 pick on.
Well, why does Minnesota, just to play devil's advocate here, why does it make more sense than Cleveland? I heard the other day that Cleveland might bring Joe Flacco back to start next year. Why does it make more sense?
Carson Wentz, right? Well, that was the other rumor.
There's and Kirk Cousins also strongly linked to them once he clears out. Why do the teams have no quarterback? At least the Vikings have J.J. McCarthy, who they love. These other teams have nobody. It strikes me the league is really down on Sam Darnold. I think he has one more good year. I think most likely scenario he signs for $35 million for 1 year, has a good year, and then next year someone jumps on him.
But the question is where? Because where's this good team where he can have a good year? He can't have a good year on a bad team.
No, I think he signs 1 year with Minnesota, and then he looks at he really puts himself into next year's free agent class.
See, I worry. I would advise against that if I were his agent, because I think next year's crop of quarterbacks are going to be way better coming out of the draft. So that's always bad for middle of the pack free agents. The funny thing about Cleveland, you mentioned, why wouldn't Cleveland go after Darnold? Well, they have the 2nd overall pick. So if they want a quarterback, they could just take whoever Tennessee didn't. They could trade up to 1, maybe if Tennessee's really open for business. And they've already invested quite a bit into Deshaun Watson. Are they putting another $100 million into a 3-year or 2-year Sam Darnold? I don't think so.
That's a good point. Cleveland is at the cap with Deshaun. But you mentioned the draft.
Yeah.
That's the underlying issue. Number 2, Cam Ward goes number 1 to the Titans or somebody trades up.
Sure.
There's no quarter. They're not taking quarterback now. That's the way all the mock drafters have it. So This is a pipe dream. Unless they're getting a 2nd-round quarterback, it feels like teams would rather go in with nobody than Sam Darnold. I really feel that way. Why are the Raiders, unless the Raiders are going to take Shedeur at number 6, and this is all smoke, all this Shedeur Sanders fault. There was another report that he came off like a jerk in meetings.
Yeah.
They're coming fast and furious.
Yeah, people are piling on now.
So I just don't understand why you'd rather have nobody than Sam Darnold.
Well, I think what's really telling, and what will be ultimately telling about Sam and his real market. We're talking about Sam Darnold did not get franchise tagged by the Vikings yesterday, so he's now a free agent. Where's he going to land, and ultimately, is it going to matter at all? I think what's telling is the New York Giants. Manny's New York Giants. Because if the Giants, they have to be really gauging Tennessee to see if they can move up. Meanwhile, you're going to be moving up and potentially putting a lot of resources to move up from 3 to 1 to the Tennessee Titans to draft Cam Ward, who we all like. But yesterday, Chris Trapasso, the draft nick from CBS Sports, compared him to David Garrard, who was a fine quarterback, but was not a generational talent by any stretch. So it's a risk if you trade up to get Cam Ward, if you can even do that. I think if the Giants don't go after Sam Darnold and decide to go the Aaron Rodgers route, that means that Joe Shane and Brian Daboll don't think Sam Darnold can save their jobs. And that's damning for Darnold, because You have Malik Neighbors. I think we could probably disagree or agree on, do the Giants actually have any pieces? But if these two guys who are so squarely on the hot seat that they're willing to do anything to save themselves, if they say no thank you to Darnold, I think that tells you a lot about where Sam Darnold's market is. I don't know if you agree with that.
I kind of do, although I do wonder if management is playing, upper management, ownership is actually playing a role in this Giants strategy. I don't think they're letting Joe Shane and Brian Dable just do whatever they can to save their job. And I don't think it's Mara. I think it's Tisch is probably the smart one of the two who was not producer. On the half owner of the Giants who was not on Hard Knocks. I think somebody there is smart. They're not going to let Brian Dable and Joe Shane spend $200 million of future cap space on free agents to try and save their job. It's not going to happen. They will not put it past them. They are not going to blow up their cap for the next 8 years on this offseason. There's no way.
I don't know if Darnold blows up your cap, but it would be a significant investment, or it's an investment, but they'll let him maybe trade up to one.
But according to your theory, they would sign a bunch of deals that they would sign 5 free agents.
I think they will.
There's no way. There's no way they're going all in on Myles Garrett and all these guys. It's just not going to happen.
855-212-4227, the Sam Darnold domino, because I'm wondering if you're a team out there who needs a quarterback, right? EJ, your Jets, Manny, your Giants, and we can say Titans fans out there, Raider fans out there. We'd love to hear from the Raider fans. You want Darnold? EJ, you can't. You already went down that road. Darnold would be a fool to walk back into the building. They treated him not well. The team was terrible. That whole thing failed. But is Darnold is that an appealing option? Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing I get. But to be fair, though, I feel like Jets fans are a little in a weird spot because they saw him arguably at his worst.
Yeah, he had terrible coaching staff around him, no offensive line, no weapons. I mean, it was a disaster.
And I think most Jets fans understand that. I don't think that they sit there and say, "Oh, like it was all his fault." I think they think he is what he is, but I also think that he was screwed. So it's tough. Now, I do feel like given the options that are out there and given the season he just put on, it's hard. You're hard pressed to find a lot of better options. Like Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles and now an elbow, shoulder injury. Russell Wilson
that he lied about,
so
he could keep playing.
I know Russell Wilson losing 5 games in a row with one of the best defenses in the NFL. Like these are not good options. And Sam is at least young and agile, and as Pearl said, he can make throws. It's like again, you get to the point where beggars can't be choosers.
I get it. Manny, you want Sam Darnold for your New York Giants, or would we rather just get, mortgage the farm to trade up?
Can I take option C, neither, and just wait till Arch Manning comes out? Because, the Cam Ward isn't going to be generational. Shedeur Sanders isn't going to be generational. We'll get an old guy for 2-3 years. It all stinks. None of this is sexy to me.
No, it's all right. You got Steve Tisch making decisions.
No, this is.
I think he produced Forrest Gump.
Oh, wonderful! That was a hit.
Yeah, trust me. Are you making fun of my Steve Tisch line?
I just think it's funny because no one ever attributes him to making decisions.
Everyone knows Tisch is
the real man behind the man.
I'll be honest, I forgot Steve Tisch was a part of it.
Yeah, everyone knows Tisch is the reasonable one and Mara is the emotional one. That's what they. But it's going to be what, Russ or Stidham for the Giants? Like, what are we doing here?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
No, maybe if it's a big master plan to tank for Arch Manning. The thing is, though, I've always said this about Arch, just like it was with Eli once upon a time, Eli Manning. You don't have to have the number 1 overall pick to get Arch if history is going to repeat itself. The Giants didn't that year. They traded up with San Diego Chargers.
I really feel like all these teams should just forget about these like older veteran guys. They should all be going for rookies. Like do what happened last year. I know maybe in theory it looks like these guys don't seem as good, but a lot of people didn't think Bo Nix was any good, and he ended up being okay, like more than okay. He was really solid, right? He made the playoffs. Like
it's Sean Payton as a coach, though. That's got to help.
But I just feel like you walk down the path of Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson. All these teams know what they're getting into. Jarrett Stidham, like you know what you're getting into. I'd rather take a shot on one of these young guys. Ewers,
Jackson Dart.
So wait, would you take Dart at 3? There's a lot of rumors that might happen.
No, I think all these teams should try to trade down. I think if you can't get the guy you want, trade down and then get your quarterback. And then say, this guy's a starter, and we're just going to see what happens. And maybe he turns out to be good. Right. I mean, like, Russell Wilson was a 3rd-round pick, and he was awesome. I'm not saying that you're going to repeat history, but these veteran guys are not
Stop talking about it.
So wait, because there are a lot of rumors, the Ole Miss connection with Eli. Somebody in the Giants building loves Jackson Dart. Yep. What if you take him at 3, EJC? I disagree with you. I think that's a little rich. Like, you get Jackson Dart at 3, and you have 1 year to win. I'm not sure that's all going to work out.
That's why I wouldn't take him at 3. I would trade down. I'm sure there are teams that are going to want some of these other young studs that play other positions and say, maybe you can get him at 10, maybe you can get him at 12, something like that.
Okay.
I would trade down.
We have a good O-line draft this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't take him at 3, I'm saying. But these teams that are really staring down a barrel of like a veteran bridge guy in hopes that Arch Manning's going to be there, only one team gets Arch Manning. And you also got to hope Arch Manning's good, by the way.
And then he decides to leave college.
Right,
I mean,
and that too, right.
How much money could he be making at Texas if he feels like he wants to stay? Peyton Manning went back for a senior year and, in theory, wasn't getting paid anything.
Exactly, and I think we know the Mannings value the number of starts you have in college. Like, I think we've heard them both talk about that, Eli and Peyton, how important that was to their development. Arch is only going to have 1 full season as a starter. So, again, there's only one of them. So, I mean, are we talking about A.B. Johnson? We're talking about these other guys that, like,
Garrett Nussmeier
who's
or
the
whatever.
Quarterbacks that are going to save you next year if you can't get Arch Manning?
I feel like next year's class is going to be way better because this is a very down class.
Yeah, no one's high on this class. 855-212-4227. Darnold or an unproven rookie. If you're a team that needs a quarterback, and there's a lot of them out there, we're looking at the Raiders. This is fascinating what Brady decides to do. I just can't imagine him spending money on Sam Darnold. I can't, but that's me. 855-212-4227. Let us know. Again, we talked about some news breaking late last night, at least on our coast, about some contract negotiations with Brock Purdy.
Yeah, but that's another Darnold spot for sure next year for Darnold in San Francisco. Pencil that in.
If they can't get something done with Purdy?
Yes.
I got an amazing Photoshop I can make real quick that I got to show you.
Of Darnold in the Niners? Yeah, because we know that Kyle Shanahan loves Sam Darnold.
Yeah, thank you, Manny. That's a real stretch. Keep working hard.
I got you.
Brock Purdy and the 49ers entering negotiations, but what else did they have to say about the state of the roster? Because as we know with Purdy, it's not just about Purdy, so there's more to the story than just what the number may be on Brock. But let us know what you think, Sam Darnold. You want him, Raider fans? Cleveland Browns? Jets, no. Giants? Tennessee Titans? I don't know. 855-212-4227. Steelers? That interest you at all?
Woof, woof.
855-212-4227. It's Maggie and Perloff. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Now Bailey rode into town with suspicion in his eyes, saying Kaplan's got a secret and he's hiding it inside. Zach Jobs lost in darkness, Ryan streams a mess, Chappelle Wolf's just a spinning wheel. Oh Lord, what a distress. But Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright, like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily sense it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Now Peter Bellotti, well he don't show, and that man's supposed to be running this show. If there's a tech problem, don't look at me. Ask the guy who's missing more than Tennessee team. So Davey, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make strings fly. But Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright, like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily says it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Now Peter Bellotti, well he don't show, and that man's supposed to be running this show. If there's a tech problem, don't look at me. Ask the guy who's missing more than Tennessee team. So, Debbie, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make strings fly. Oh, 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 oh. Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily says it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Oh, don't play no games. Oh, me, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make streams fly. Good.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. You know who's having a bad offseason? I'll just say it right now. I think the Niners, the expectations of the Niners have to be falling.
Really?
Because I heard Steve Young talking about the team yesterday on the Rich Eisen show. He said the O-line is a mess. They don't think that Ayuk's going to be there by the beginning of the season.
Because of the ACL.
ACL, MCL, turns out PCL, and cartilage. Whoa. So he's got a major injury. They have not done anything specifically to address their major flaw, which is special teams. So I don't think that realistically they should be in the top 5 in odds for Super Bowl like they are. But they obviously have some big work to do. And everyone's talking about signing Brock Purdy. That's just part of the issue here. So if they want to play low ball with Brock Purdy, I get it because they got a lot of problems other than quarterback. I don't know how they are going to run this team back. They better just hope that Christian McCaffrey finds the right blood spinning treatment in Europe and is ready to go for 18 games. That seems to me like their best chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think are we past the blood spinning phase? Is there what's next? You spin something else? I've no idea. And add on top of that, the report yesterday that the Niners are, quote, open to trading just about anyone.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It feels like a pipe dream to be able to trade Ayuk because he's hurt and he's owed a lot of money. However, if a team does look at this as a bigger picture and say, all right, we don't think that Ayuk is going to have like a devastating, this is not a career-ending or altering knee injury. It's just something he's got to overcome.
Right.
He has $50 million guaranteed over the next 2 years.
Right.
$25 million a year is actually not the top of the market for a wide receiver. Watch what Jamar Chase is about to get paid. Watch what CeeDee Lamb got paid. We see these guys who are making 30 plus, and Jamar Chase is probably going to dip into the $40 million a year. So if you're a different team and you think Ayuk is, could help you maybe for a playoff run this year, and then you'll have him the next year, you might say, all right, $50 million. I'm not saying it's a bargain, but it's closer to bargain than it is not.
He's not in the same conversation with those players, though. There's nothing in common with Brandon Ayuk and Jamar Chase to me.
That's the thing. I don't understand why he's on the trade block, because I think that he's more important to Brock Purdy maybe than any other team. Brock looks to Ayuk first. It's clear they have a connection. And now we're hearing from Jason La Canfora, who's an insider who works out of D.C., that the 49ers, this is how he worded the tweet, 49ers playing hardball with Purdy is very on brand. Starting your offers at $45 million a year is something. I didn't take this as such a huge insult to Purdy. To me, getting from $45 million a year to $50 million is like not a huge leap as far as negotiations at this level are concerned. And I think if Brock gets to the $50 million threshold, I think he's probably taking that deal. Is he like thrilled about it? Like, yeah, probably on balance, you're going to be super rich. But I don't think Brock is going to necessarily play hardball to get to $55 million or what have you. I think he would take $50 million.
So that puts him, what, 9th or 10th among quarterbacks, and probably by the end of the whole thing, 20th or something. Yeah, I mean, the Niners, I think that's exactly what the Niners want, a very reasonable contract. So they're not killing themselves with the Brock Purdy contract, and they can keep some of these older guys. They keep putting out these public messages. We're up against it cap-wise. Yeah. That's why they said
their own fault.
And they also said they're up against it cash-wise, which I don't totally understand. I mean, we could bore the audience to death the difference between cap and cash. I don't know. It feels like the Eagles always have room to sign these guys. I just don't think they're that high on the player. I think Kyle Shanahan's a little fickle when it comes to quarterback. I think they think Purdy's good, not great.
Well, and you start taking weapons away from him, he's going to be even worse, because he's the type of guy who needs all those weapons, and every quarterback would love those kind of weapons. So, you already traded away Deebo Samuel, and that's fine. I don't think the fan base was too broken up about that. But, you're thinking about Ayuk. Now you get this report. Yeah. Anyone's on the table.
Yeah,
and how many people are you willing to part ways with here? Yeah,
they need their number one priority is offensive line. Number 2 is special teams. They got to get those things fixed. Otherwise, they have none of it. None of it matters if you don't have an O-line. We saw that last year. Purdy was running around, and when he can't do the short passing game because he can't see anything in front of him because everyone's getting beat on their blocks. It's a disaster. So they have a lot of work. I don't know how you fixing your offensive line. Like every team wants to do that. Does it ever happen? It's very hard to do.
Yeah, 855-212-4227. We had put out a poll question, EJ. What was this, a couple days ago about Brock Purdy? Are the Niners signing him begrudgingly or excitedly? And begrudgingly won.
Yeah. Are you surprised?
Kind of, because I'm a little surprised that the fan base, at least from our seat, feels like they've really cooled on Purdy. It was a down year, and there was a million different reasons why San Francisco, faltered last year. It was injuries. It was devastating things that happened off the field that killed the vibe. It was special teams, as you said. It was coaching staff shakeup.
Special defense, too.
And injuries and everything, right? So I'm a little surprised that, it appears from our vantage point that the fan base has cooled on Purdy when this sort of feels like, just sort of a bad year all around.
Well, he had 20 touchdowns and 12 picks last year. That is not the kind of numbers you want to throw $50 million at.
But he had no McCaffrey and he had no Ayuk.
Right. But regardless, definitely, you look at that body of work, with Kyle Shanahan, that's not a good sign. If he was coming off the year before, you'd feel okay about it. You wouldn't be begrudging. But I totally understand the begrudging. By the way, he had some big games toward the end of the year. He kind of got hot. But partly because the defense was so bad that teams were running up the score on them. So there's a lot going on in San Francisco. I think they have a ton of work. I think they're even thinking we have to reshape this team on the fly. I wouldn't use the rebuild word, but when you say we're going to trade everybody, that kind of sounds like a rebuilding term.
Well, it's funny because, EJ, I think that you may have had a thought that building around Brock Purdy is actually a smart thing for them to do, right? If you're going to let other pieces go but make Brock the focal point of the team, that's smart. I think that scares the fan base, because I think they know his limitations.
But to me, that's silly, because what we saw was a team built around Brock Purdy go to the Super Bowl. Like, at the end of the day, when you think about the weapons they had, the offensive line they had, the defense they had, that was a team that was built around Brock Purdy to his advantages. They just didn't know that their quarterback they found was in the last round of the NFL draft. So to me, those pieces no longer work. They're older. They're getting hurt. There's things that's been happening with the team. They're just not all together. So you need to start throwing these guys away and start bringing some young guys that would fit for the next era of the Brock Purdy leading you. To go say we have a decent quarterback who we know would get us to a certain level, and we're gonna not take care of him, but take care of these older guys doesn't make sense to me. To me, it's like, no, you pay the younger guy and then find out what is the next 2.0 of the Niners. I think that they have a pretty bright future with Brock, but they do have to start offloading some of these guys.
Yeah, I think they were more built around McCaffrey the Super Bowl year. I feel like he was the centerpiece of everything. Purdy was definitely the secondary. I mean, we saw the MVP vote. McCaffrey was third and Purdy was sixth or something. Like, McCaffrey was everything to that team.
McCaffrey was awesome, but I think at the end of the day, you're not going to have McCaffrey playing at that level for
more years.
That's time to find a new McCaffrey,
right,
but that's not that easy.
Yeah.
And they invested a lot, not just to trade for him and get him from Carolina. They've paid him again. I mean, a slight raise, but like they've invested a lot in Christian McCaffrey. Perloff said he's got to go back to Germany and spin some blood.
They need him.
I think we're past that point.
Yeah, they need him to come back. He's 28. They could use one more McCaffrey year.
Let's go to the phones. 855-212-4227. Jay's in Nashville. Jay, give us the fan perspective for the team picking number one in the draft.
Okay. I hear you guys talking about Darnold, and thinking about it, it's just ironic because I was thinking about it yesterday. If I was the Titans, I would take Darnold, and I'd take my number one pick and it's like trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. I take that number one pick and get more picks out of it. That way I can build my offensive line and defensive line. Mm-hmm. And who I would shop that number one pick to is a team who just got rid of both of their cornerbacks, which is the Eagles, who is so stacked they can give away draft picks. I'd try to get either two number ones or get a number one for next year or get a bunch of second-round picks. But the Eagles would love to have somebody like Travis Hunter. And the thing about the Eagles is so stacked for the next 3 to 4 years, they can give away picks. So it's almost like the same scenario when Dallas traded Herschel Walker for all them damn picks. And look what turned out. Yeah. They had a dynasty out of that. So it's like, why not? It's almost like flipping houses or flipping cars. Why not flip that number one pick? And Darnold will hold you over until, like you said, they got good quarterbacks coming out next year. Why not?
Right. Jay, you really think that the Philadelphia Eagles coming off of the Super Bowl would then trade up for the number one overall pick? That's crazy even for Howie Roseman.
They don't have any cornerbacks, and they got picks to give away. They're stacked for the next 3 to 4 years.
Those picks are too high, though, Jay. The Titans don't want the 25th to 32nd pick.
I know, but I'm saying you can give them at least multiple number ones and number twos. Who else are they going to get? And like you said, the quarterbacks are they're good quarterbacks, but they're not game changers like you would think. I think a couple of them could turn out to be that, but why not follow the Eagles format of building your O-line and your D-line? That's what you need right now. I'm here watching this stuff. And it's O-line and D-line is their problem. They already got Big Jeff on the D-line. Why not add somebody else with Big Jeff on that D-line and build your offensive line to where your grandma can sit back there and go down?
Love it.
Jay, thank you for the phone call. Inspired. Pearl, your Philadelphia Eagles making a big move?
Well, first of all, if they went up there, I think it'd be for Abdul Carter. They are drooling over that guy. That he's an Eagles fan. He's from Penn State. They love Micah Parsons. He's Micah Parsons 2.0. They have Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell.
I was going to say, they've got corners.
Well, they let the old guys go. They let Slay, who might come back.
Yeah, and James Bradbury, I didn't even know was on the team anymore.
Yeah, Bradbury got hurt before the season last year. So I think Jay is inspired. I do think a team like the Eagles would love to get up there to get Abdul Carter, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's way too far. But we were talking yesterday, what if the Cowboys wanted to get up there to get Travis Hunter or something? Maybe that's a thing. Maybe there is. I like his thinking that we have so many holes. Why go quarterback here? What he's saying makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but see, I'd trade with the Giants. If all things were equal, I'd trade with the Giants because even if I don't get as much of a haul because they're only going from 3 to 1, I might bet against the Giants. Like they might still have a bad year.
Or the Raiders, it's the same logic. Raiders 6, Jets at 7. Jets reportedly really want to get up to 1 for Cam Ward. That's not a bad. That's not a bad spot at all. They, the Jet, all those teams.
I would fade the Jets in 100 times out of 100.
Right. So I like where you're, or the Saints at number 9, because the Saints have all these salary cap problems. All these teams in the top 10 are flawed. I think the Titans are thinking like Jay. I don't think it's an outrageous thought at all. Hey, let's go all the way down to 32. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't think so. Andrew Bogusch is here with headlines for us on a very busy Wednesday.
Guys, good morning. Those headlines sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Adult toy-shaped feet. As I look to my left, no Knicks gear can be seen on the human scoreboard, so I'm assuming things didn't go well at MSG last night.
Butler working on Brunson. Jab step, driving baseline underneath the hoop to Moody. Extra pass, Curry, catch and shoot, right wing, 3. Rain dance! Warriors by 2. Timeout! Knicks.
That's not Tim Roy on Warriors Radio. Steph Curry, 28 points, 9 assists, improving to 12-1 at the Garden after this 114-102 final. His Dubs have now won 7 of 8 overall. Tom Thibodeau, the latest coach, without an answer for Curry.
He never stops, so you can handle the first part, then there's going to be a second and third one. And so a couple of them were, guarded extremely well, and he has that ability. But, we got to find a way to win that game.
His Knicks outscored by 20 in the second half last night.
I mean, okay, Golden State now up to 6th in the Western Conference standings.
The
Lakers
out of the
are
plan.
up to 2.
Yep.
These trades were amazing.
Also though they have both played somewhat easy schedules. I mean, the Lakers are beating a lot of Hornets and Jazz and Pelicans.
But they got the Celtics coming up and a couple other fun
we'll
ones.
see. And by the way, the Knicks can't beat a good team. So does this prove anything?
Well, the Knicks beat good teams, just not the top 3 teams.
Steph Curry does own that building. I mean, it's small sample size because only 13 games going back to when he was at Davidson playing in the NCAA tournament. But good.
Yeah, he rarely loses. The only game he lost, he scored 54 points. It's really weird.
Yeah, Trey Young wants to be the king of New York. What a dunce.
At least you have that going for you, man.
That's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah,
don't,
an idiot.
Don't hurt your back there, stretching for the Trey Young thing.
Those Lakers beat the Pelicans last night, 136-115. They have their first 7-game win streak in 4 years. LeBron had 34, Luka 30, and 15 assists. Kevin Durant scored 34 as the Suns rallied for a 119-117 win over the Clippers, and the T-Wolves ran away from the Sixers, 126-112. Only 2 players got the franchise tag before yesterday afternoon's deadline, the fewest since 2006, when only 1 player got tagged. Anybody got a guess?
I read this.
Okay.
I read it already, but I immediately thought of our girl here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is, say it again. I was in the chat with someone saying that Eagles are going to be a dynasty. Sorry, go ahead.
The fewest franchise tags.
Get out of the chat.
Just 2 yesterday. The fewest since 2006, when there was only 1.
Oh, and that was my Bills?
It was your Bills.
The 2006, who did they franchise tag? No.
If you could guess, I don't think you're going to be able to pull this
Was it
one.
offense or defense? I don't remember.
I think defense?
Oh.
Yeah, he's a corner, right?
He's a corner, yeah.
God, the corners were not good back then.
Yeah.
Tom Brady was just setting records left and right. I don't know.
That's how they had that 20-year playoff drought.
Exactly.
Nate Clements was tagged 19 years ago.
Wow.
I read the
and
same
that regime got blown out of the building, I'm sure, right away.
Not a lot of franchise tag. That deadline came and went.
And there was a time where Nate Clements deserved one.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. We'll go with that.
The 2 this year, T. Higgins, we know that, and Chiefs Pro Bowl guard Trey Smith. The Cowboys signed D-tackle Osa Odighizuwa long-term instead, 4 years, $58 million guaranteed. The ACC, Florida State, and Clemson reached a settlement yesterday in their legal fight over revenue sharing and exit fees. Schools who get more attention will get more money from the league moving forward, and the financial penalty for leaving the league drops significantly by 2031. Men's top 25 action last night. We should have a new number 1 come Monday.
The inbound to Pettiford. Texas A&M, the first time history is made. Aggies defeats a number 1 team. Tigers tamed 83-72. Texas A&M beats number 1 Auburn.
The 22nd ranked Aggies ending a 4-game skid with their first ever win over number 1. They led Auburn wire to wire in this one. And some good teams still struggling on ice. The league-leading Jets dropped their third in a row, 3-2 at the Islanders. The Oilers took a 6-2 home beating from the Ducks. Edmonton's dropped 6 of 7. They remain 4 points behind Vegas for first in the Pacific Division. Guys, back to you.
Can I say one thing about that ACC story?
Sure.
Florida State and Clemson, peace for now. I read the deal they set up means that there's going to be nuclear war in 2030. And
yes.
The entire conferences that we know them will be completely different after the setup in 2030 because they're going to want out. And everything is going to be up for grabs, and it's going to be a totally new system coming after
okay,
that.
because
we need a conference realignment. It's been a while since we've had
I
that.
know, we're missing it. It's been a while since Stanford went to the ACC.
Yeah.
So because the ACC is going to break apart in 2030?
These good teams are going to leave the ACC and presumably go to the SEC, I guess, or are they just going to be free agents, or is the SEC and the Big Ten and the ACC going to reach an agreement where there's some sort of new league?
Yeah, let's just do that, right? I mean, that's where we're going, like to some 64 mega team group. Let's just get there and be done with
like the
this.
NFL.
Yeah.
And does this seems to help it because it finally lets Florida State and Clemson out of the ACC.
Right, and they can pay it, and they take all of their media rights with. I mean, they won this. Like they're getting more money now, and now they have their path out of this league. Like the ACC gave up yesterday.
And in this theory, or in this new reality where it's more like the NFL, it'd be double the size, but more like the NFL where you just have like divisions or something.
Yeah, 4, 16 team groups, whatever it is.
But for basketball.
And
basketball doesn't get touched, or what do we do here?
I don't know, because all these things are interconnected. Like all these TV contracts are intertwined with the Olympic sports. I mean, I would love it if just football and basketball did this power thing, and everyone else could go back to the way it was.
More regional. That'd be great.
Right. We don't need Stanford and Wake Forest playing league soccer matches.
Yeah,
we don't need
volleyball
that.
matches like on a Wednesday,
right
in the middle of when you should just be playing more regionally. So you think the basketball would also go to this 64 team thing?
Well, I mean, the thing with basketball is there's so many more competitive teams. So I don't know what theirs would look like, but I don't know that they would separate those two.
Yeah.
They might.
Honestly, who cares? Basketball,
I care about basketball.
All the money comes in through the tournament for basketball. So I think it's a much less priority. That basketball isn't as contingent on this conference line.
Right.
And also now that the SEC dominates the sport, I think it's really about football. And this will fix the balanced schedule problem. That's a huge issue, I think, because everyone's upset that they can't get the right playoff teams because everyone has different schedules.
I think it will change it. I mean, you still have this happen in the NFL where teams get like air quotes easy schedules and make the playoffs, and they're get blown out in the first round.
But it's radically worse in college football. Look at Indiana's schedule.
Yeah, no, I get you.
So
I do wonder if your schedule will be easier based on just like where you're regionally located. Like if you're Texas, for example, like they got to skate some matchups because they left the Big 12. Like, are they just they're going to have to play, I know Nebraska's not good now, but do they have to play some of these teams? Like, if you're Florida, are you obligated to play Miami every year? Like, how's that going to work?
I think you'd want that, right?
Well, you do, and I think that's what's actually going to be one of the great things about this is I think this is how you get back to having your rivalries matter again. But I do wonder if you're like Indiana, for example, like who in your region, like, you play Purdue and Northwestern, like that. I feel like we might still run into some of those issues.
I think it's unavoidable. I mean, Indiana's schedule in the Big Ten was unbalanced. Before we compared it to other teams in other leagues, like their Big Ten record was not the same as other Big Ten records by who you play. So there's always going to be like weak spots, soft spots. You can't have perfect balance. You just can't.
Don't worry, we have another 5 years to talk about this. 855-212-4227. They should start now because it's going to take them forever to decide on a system.
Kennesaw State against Grand Canyon next on the ACC network.
855-212-4227. Lots more to do, including we're surprised that this potential player is on the trade block. We'll get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Now Peter Bellotti, well, he don't show, and that man's supposed to be running this show. If there's a tech problem,
3 minutes
don't
remaining.
look at me, ask the guy who's missing more than Tennessee. So
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining.
AJ's at the bar with a cold, cheap beer. Says Trey Young's no big deal, don't bring him here. But the Knicks lost again and it's starting to show as he punches the jukebox playing Old Town Road.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining.
He's guarded by Loss. Play in action. Barbuccia gets a screen from Ratliff. Barbuccia driving. Finds Ratliff free throw line. Jay, yes! Clock continues to run. Panthers have one final chance. Here's Kennedy. Kennedy with 5. Step back. Jay, yes! Oh, Josiah Kennedy!
1 minute remaining.
Ice cold. Timeout 7.
45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, M&P on the Infinity Sports Network. So if you were listening last segment, our friend Jay in Nashville calls in this show, had a radical idea for his Titans, which would be to trade with the Philadelphia Eagles, of all people.
Yes.
Because the Eagles, they've drafted so well over the last couple of years, was the thought, that they can afford to give away future draft picks because they're kind of set. So they would make this big swing to maybe get up and get a Travis Hunter or something like that.
It's a Luka Doncic-like trade for my Eagles. Give us Travis Hunter.
Shot.
Yeah.
Woo, bank that in. Anyway, but so that was kind of radical, gave us something to think about. But meanwhile, there could be some major changes coming to the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's our friend Tom Curran, does a fantastic job reporting on the New England Patriots. He was on the Jones and Keefe show on WEEI and talked about one target that the Patriots could be looking at.
I love the fact that you actually are sensible enough to go back to A.J. Brown instead of barking up the T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, both and Ayuk, who are just not going to happen. A.J. Brown is a much more reasonable get.
Okay, more from Curran. The Patriots have to make a call on Brown if they can't get like a Chris Godwin or Davante Adams, and they should be targeting Brown.
And if not, meanwhile, you're also making calls to Howie Roseman about what can we get, what can we send you for A.J. Brown.
Okay, so this would kind of close a loop, if you will, Pearl, because A.J. Brown obviously played for Mike Vrabel when they were both at Tennessee, and the reports were that Mike Vrabel was really blindsided by that draft day trade that sent A.J. Brown out of town. Now, we're always wondering, like, is that true, or is that just a coach kind of sticking up for his players? Him wanting to reunite with A.J. Brown makes sense. And A.J. Brown was not exactly like Mr. Happy Camper, despite the fact that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Definitely complained about the passing game. Definitely was, doesn't love sharing the targets with, Devontae Smith.
I'm going to go we here. What do we get for A.J. Brown?
Probably a draft pick.
Yeah. Which one? We're obviously not getting the number 4 pick. Do we get the 38th pick? I'm looking at the order. That's their pick in the second round. Would you do it for the Eagles? Because Howie is a tough bargainer. He's going to want something good.
Yeah.
To give up A.J. Brown, who's 27. He's not 32 like Davante Adams. I think you're going to get a good pick. And that's really interesting. Would you take the 38th pick if you're the Eagles for A.J. Brown? I think that's a very interesting trade for both teams. That seems to work to me.
Okay, but see, this is why I don't know if I would do this if I'm the Pats. I know they've got all the money in the world, but they also have some time here, don't they? I mean, Drake May looks like he's the guy. Why don't you just take your draft picks and draft wide receivers? Like, I know that they've, Bill was not great at that. Belichick, for all of his great qualities, flaws, N'Keal Harry, and these guys he totally whiffed on. But I would say, I don't know, younger guys who can kind of grow with Drake May as opposed to taking on a big salary guy and someone who's going to demand the ball. Like, I know all wide receivers want the ball, Pearl,
right?
But he's going to be in the huddle with Drake May. Like, I want you throwing me the ball on every single down. I mean, he's going to be that guy.
Oh, yeah, but you should, of all people, you should get this because Josh Allen was transformed by getting Stephon Diggs to Buffalo. There's so many. Jalen Hurts, by the way, was transformed when A.J. Brown came to town. He made Jalen Hurts a much more effective passer.
Right. But that's kind of like a zero-sum game. Do we know if Josh Allen would have developed if Stephon Diggs had not gotten there? Because Diggs also put up his best numbers with Josh Allen. It was there. It's almost like there's no alternate path. It was if they didn't get Diggs, then Josh Allen still would have been throwing the ball into the first row. I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Wow.
Could Drake May still develop even if it's without A.J. Brown?
Yes, he could, but this would sure accelerate the process, and I get that. I mean, A.J. Brown is great. He's unstoppable on those deep routes. He can, if you get him one-on-one, it's done. Look at the top quarterbacks in the league. They all have these kind of security blanket receivers. Joe Burrow's got Jamar Chase. Jared Goff's got Amon-Ra St. Brown. Baker Mayfield's got Mike Evans. I'm going down the list of top passers. You look at Sam Darnold with these great receivers. I understand when you're saying you can get better value in the draft, but you do know there's huge value to a quarterback to have a number 1A receiver.
No,
so A.J. Brown, and do you agree that A.J. Brown is a 1A, top 10 receiver, top 5 maybe?
Yeah, I think he is. But I guess I just am questioning, does it have to be right now? That would just be. And by the way, if you want to go for a Davante Adams, who I know is 32, but got released yesterday by the Jets, you don't got to trade anything. You don't have to give up anything, and it'll be cheaper.
But that's like the Titans getting DeAndre Hopkins. That's not going to do anything. That ship is sailed.
I think he's better than DeAndre Hopkins.
I've shown you numbers before. Post 30 receivers generally don't do very well, and post 32 receivers are even worse.
Yeah, I know he can play in the cold, though. And again, I don't have to, give up anything. Anyway, 855-212-4227. Well, A.J. Brown to the Patriots talk. Patriots are going to be a major factor in this offseason. That's something that we know. Coming up, looky here. Who was making smart financial moves yesterday? Oh, we were shocked.
You're in a 5-minute break.
He's a Raiders fan, silver and black. Watches Maggie and Perloff, never off track. He's cheering for Vegas all season long, but there's a twist in this song that's gone wrong. Oh, Peter Bloody, where did you go? You're like a ghost in the studio. He's here cheering all Raiders pride, but Peter's missing again. He's denied. Oh, yo. L.O. Man, he's got a whip full bat swinging with flair. Behind the glass, he's waving it in the air. That bat's bright yellow, could do some harm. If he's not careful, it'll raise the alarm. Down by the docks, the workers unite, saying we won't move till the deal is right. Cargo stacking, ships ain't rolling in, but where's Bloody not seen again?
Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining.
Down in San Antonio, there's a man you should know. Kevin Lamelli puts on quite a show. 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, with your squats in a row. A workout machine, he's got that morning glow. Kevin Lamelli, breakfast king. Exact time, hear the syrup sing. Sometimes it's oatmeal, he's keeping it clean. But every single morning he's living the dream.
Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
See, just when you start underestimating the Dallas Cowboys, they do something that's smart, kind of shocks all of us. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Pearl, we've been so used to, criticizing the Cowboys, especially when it comes to off-season stuff, contracts. It's so easy to say, why do you wait so long? And you sign guys at the top of the market and you end up, just screwing yourself over. Yesterday, they actually did something a little proactive, believe it or not.
I'm skeptical. Go ahead.
Well, they signed one of their own guys, Osa Digwanza. I'm just going to kind of blow through that name. But $58 million guaranteed. Listen, they think that he's a big piece because this is a team that can't stop the run. So getting rid of guys who in theory help you do that is not going to be smart. You just have to add more meaningfully on that defensive line. But $58 million for a guy who is going to help you on the defense is not terrible. And then they restructured CeeDee Lamb. So getting the deal done with their own defensive player and making sure you got that contract nailed down helps with the Micah Parsons future deal, right? Because you're not having a guy on a franchise tag, but you are in a contract where you can spread the money out over multiple years. So that helps Micah Parsons. Then the CeeDee Lamb restructure, according to reports, is freeing up like another $20 million. Guys, we know that now before free agency is starting. This is what we were begging the Cowboys to do last season. Get the Dak Prescott deal done early so you know how much money you have to spend in free agency. Turns out they didn't do that, and they didn't spend anything in free agency. This is at least progress, Pearl.
Wait, but it's not because we don't know what they're going to do with that money. It's an incomplete at best. And also, I feel like they're a year too late. What are they going to add in this by all reports, a bad free agent class? There's really nothing there that anybody wants. So they're freeing up money for what? I think that money's just to pay Parsons. What's the cavalry? Where are they? Who are they signing with this money that's going to make a difference?
Well, a little guy by the name of Myles Garrett's still hanging out there, and he's going to need a lot of money. Now, that's probably going to take some draft capital also. But, maybe there is a bigger swing that's in play
You're going to spend
for the Dallas Cowboys.
You're going to spend $120 million on 2 defensive ends? Just run away.
Listen,
if I'm playing them,
defense is the biggest issue with the Cowboys.
Yes, I'm just saying that is all your eggs are in that basket. Just run away from those guys. You needed a whole team. You can't have that much, and you can't have the 2 highest paid defensive ends in football. Can you? If so, that'd be completely unprecedented.
Well, we'll see, but they got to change up something on the defense. We know that. Or listen, maybe it's not a defensive thing. Maybe the $20 million is actually for someone on the offensive side. Now, T. Higgins got the franchise tag. I don't know if he's going to be available for any kind of negotiation. Doesn't look like it. But maybe this is an A.J. Brown. I don't know if the Cowboys would trade with the Eagles. That's a little familiar. But is there any way to meaningfully add?
They did. Micah Parsons and Davante Smith were traded for each other.
Well, that was draft picks, right?
Right, 12 to 10. And listen, the Eagles and Micah Parsons seem destined. I know I keep saying that. Yeah, I'm still very skeptical because they said they were going all in last year. And even if they free up this money, use it in a smart way, or I don't want to hear about it.
Listen, they were crying poor last year that they couldn't sign Derrick Henry because they didn't have the $8 million or whatever it was. Well, that's not an excuse anymore.
Then they pay $20 million plus for a defensive tackle that has never made a Pro Bowl. It just feels crazy to me. I don't totally understand where they're going. They obviously need a running back. They need a second receiver. I don't know.
They need linebackers.
They need
Zach Bond. I don't know if they're going to pay at the top of the mark for him. What about a Montez Sweat if the Eagles let him go?
Here's the real issue.
Or Josh Sweat, excuse me. Not Montez Sweat. Josh Sweat.
The great offensive line of the past is gone. Zach Martin's retiring. So I just don't know that it's a lot of faith that they can do it again and rebuild this great line. I know they put a lot of draft capital into the offensive line, but without that, I'm just not sure that they're getting back to 12-5. And I don't love the Brian Schottenheimer hire.
Well,
I can't get excited. I'm sorry. It is a smart move to free up space, but where are they going to use it? I'll bet you they just use it to re-sign Parsons at the end of the day. Do you think anybody really, really impactful is coming?
Well, but I think the Digazua contract kind of made it so that Parsons can be signed. I think the CDs, at least the way I'm reading it, I'm no capologist, but at least the way I'm reading it is that's new money that or new space that's being freed up to be used. The Micah Parsons thing is going to happen. The question is when, but it's going to happen. And here's the thing. it's just so easy to make fun of the Cowboys all the time. But let's look at what's gone on the last couple days. Jerry Jones staying quiet at the combine. Hallelujah. Listen, it helps our job if he talks every day. But him being quiet, I think, probably is a good thing. And now they get a deal done with their own guy who you might not like it, Pearl.
Well, I got to tell you, I read a lot of fans on Twitter are like, what is Jerry doing? Why are they paying this guy so much? This could be a mistake.
Then on the flip side, you now could have some money to burn, and it does look like things, I think, are progressing well with Micah Parsons, but I don't know if they've actually sat down at the table. I think we all believe that's going to get done at some point.
The fans are saying they have this trend of overpaying their own guys and not getting anyone from the outside. And there's nothing that's happened here that makes me believe that it's going to be different this year. It seems like they're just going to overpay their own guys because Jerry loves his guys and then not get any help. And listen, I think we're down on the Cowboys for a couple reasons. They have major injuries that are carrying into next year. They made a great pick in DeMarvion Overshawn, but he's not going to really play next year. And Deron Bland has this crazy medical setback, so he's probably not going to play until halfway through the year. And their O-line got old. I just think it's hard for Cowboys fans to get excited. Remember last year at Oxnard, their training camp was empty. There was nobody in the stands.
Yeah.
I don't expect anything there to change unless they really do go all in and make a splash move, a real splash move. I'm just not buying it. And I think most of the Cowboys fans are with me.
855-212-4227. Yeah, EJ, you want to say something?
I think there's an important thing about Osa's contract on this. So he's getting paid $80 million over 4 years, $20 million a year. But the important note is that this first year salary number is only going to be $1 million. He basically is getting the signing bonus for that $20 million. So you pay this guy, you bring him back, and then you take the $20 million you took off CeeDee Lamb. And then whatever money that comes up, all of a sudden a team that looked like they were in cap hell, at least for this season, looks like they could do something particularly big. So I kind of
like what?
I mean, we mentioned Micah. I think a receiver is something that's possible too. Maybe if it's not necessarily signing a guy, maybe it's a trade for a guy who's maybe disgruntled or a guy that maybe a team's trying to get out of. I kind of like what they're doing. I mean,
Me too.
I'm surprised, and I think the only thing about Osa is that even though he's defensive tackle, really he's a pass rusher. Like his best numbers have been his quarterback pressures, his hits, and the PFF rating on his run grade has been bad, which maybe is the team issue. Like the team has been terrible run defense team. But that would be my own thing is is this the right guy to pay considering he's been more of a pass rusher, which you have?
I just think the Cowboys are looking at 500 at best.
Well, listen, even you said it's an incomplete, though. We don't know what they've done. Now, if they free up all this cap space, let's say they sign Parsons. I don't think you get any pats on the back for re-signing your own guy. That's a no-brainer. You hit on the draft pick, re-sign him. But let's say that, they do go out there and they do spend. I think you would think about it a little bit differently.
Right. If you give me a Myles Garrett or a splash receiver that EJ mentioned, somebody who's a little younger than, Cooper Kupp, a 32-year-old Cooper Kupp's not doing it for me. If you really go quote unquote all in and you get someone, I'll totally change my opinion. But I just don't expect that to happen based on how they've operated lately.
What about Garrett Wilson?
They could get Garrett Wilson?
I'm throwing names out there. I think there are receivers out there.
You said, disgruntled
receivers who will be up for contract soon, but you probably want to pay immediately. I think that they got to be creative. And but
that doesn't feel like them. That's what I'm saying.
I got you.
Yeah, if they did Garrett Wilson, yes, I'm all in. That's amazing. I'd just be surprised.
I wonder about Garrett Wilson. Is he going to be as disgruntled now that Rodgers is gone? Because it seems like that was a big issue. Rodgers, the Davante Adams connection, maybe Rodgers forcing the ball to Adams over those last 11 games that they played together. But if he's gone and Garrett Wilson is back to being number one, I don't know who's throwing him the ball.
Well, also, one more thing. What about this draft pick? They said number 12. Do they go in for Ashton Genty if he's there? I think that's a key question, too.
I saw a report saying that it sounds like they don't want him, which I was shocked by.
Could be a smokescreen.
Could be.
You got some O-linemen in this draft. The Cowboys always love drafting O-linemen.
They can't draft another O-lineman. They have a first-round pick at left tackle, first-round pick at left guard, a second-round pick at center.
They need defensive help, if we're being honest, and they need playmakers.
They need a second receiver. The receivers, that's a good spot. Number 12, teams always go receiver there. I don't know. I would, of course, I'm pro Genty. Someone called in yesterday and said that he took too much damage at Boise State.
Yeah.
I saw some numbers on him. He breaks tackles unlike any running back we've seen come out of the draft. I would definitely go Genty if he was there. So I think my point is they need a splash. And I think you're with me, but I can't trust Jerry that he's going to do it.
855-212-4227. All right, the Cowboys making some prudent financial moves, but will it ultimately pay off this season? Let's go to Brian in California, wants to weigh in on the 49ers, and we have learned that the starting number for Brock Purdy is $45 million a year. Brian, what do you think?
I think that's a good amount, and I would like to see them draft an offensive lineman. They've got Ricky Pearsall at receiver. I'd love to see him get either Davante Adams or T. Higgins and go that way. Brock's great. I don't think we're cooling on Brock. I think what it is, he has some difficulties in wet weather when he doesn't have all his weapons. But I say get a good receiver and, see, we have Javon Jennings, and I just think they're going to be okay.
I hadn't thought about Davante Adams going to the 49ers. Brian, thanks for the call. I mean, I don't know how much Davante Adams wants to get paid.
Well, also, that's why you have Kyle Shanahan and you're going to pay Brock Purdy $47 million, so you don't have to go out and pay for a Davante Adams. Right? I would hope, and you drafted Ricky Pearsall at a certain point, how much are you going to invest in wide receiver?
Ayuk.
Yeah, you have a ton invested in that room. You're going to add an expensive older piece. That doesn't make sense to me. But I kind of like his optimism. He might not be wrong. The general tone of that call makes sense. Like, this could get fixed quickly, but it's challenging. It's an important offseason.
I think we nailed it before, which is it's finding the replacement for McCaffrey or someone who can fill in if McCaffrey's not going to be available in a better way than what the running backs did for San Francisco last year. McCaffrey's like maybe, are you really going to replace that guy? He's hard, but I think that's where they should be focusing on as opposed to more receivers.
I think the key to the Niners is one move they made this offseason, bringing back Robert Saleh. I think if they could bring back Saleh's defense, because the guys have been okay since Saleh left, and Ryans was obviously great too, but what if that defense got back to number one? Then that fixes everything.
Okay, but is Drake Greenlaw coming back? Is Charvarius Ward coming back? Is Hufanga coming back? It might look a little different.
Right, but the point is maybe the key, those guys obviously were not the key because the defense has been slowly eroding. The key might have been the coaching. So maybe that's what happens. And that would make it's a lot easier when you get a turnover and you get the ball at the 20-yard line if you're Brock Purdy. Maybe defense and special teams is where the Niners need to really focus this offseason.
855-212-4227. Lots more to do, including I love this thought for Davante Adams. A familiar team. Perhaps they could find a second life with.
The Jets.
I think that ship sailed. Also, what's up with the new, I feel like this is relatively new, where teams are sending out like tweets and Instagram posts when they release somebody. Just release them. Like, we got it. The Schefters will take care of it. We don't need the Jets didn't even say thank you to Davante Adams. It's just like, we released him. There was no like, oh, thanks for the memories like they did with Aaron Rodgers.
What memories?
Yeah, no, I know. But like, we
so
get it.
You say the Jets sent out a tweet saying we released Davante Adams?
And that's it. And it's a picture of him in a Jets uniform. Like, no need.
Well, I don't like that. I think that's weird. I don't like that NFL teams are doing we interviewed this guy post. I don't like that.
That is weird.
I think it's
so
public
odd.
posturing about the Rooney Rule.
I think it's the social media managers think that they're newsmakers, or at least they think they're at ESPN.com, and think about that kid in his office like, oh, we got something to tweet here. You need something to tweet. What else are you going to tweet if you're the Jets?
I don't know. Get creative. Ask everyone what their favorite cereal is or something. Make some other content.
Yeah, but I think they actually want to own that news. I think they want more Twitter followers. I think it's that simple.
I think that's true. I agree with Pearl. I think that's
Do you think that saying that you interviewed the coach from the University of Maryland is going to all of a sudden now 30,000 more people are going to follow your account?
I think it's engagement, because I know I engaged that post, and I was like, what the hell are we doing? This guy has a 30% winning percentage. What are we doing?
Guest on the show, by the way. Hi, Mike Lockwood.
Yeah.
I talked to the Panthers social media guy a few years ago because I sent him a DM on Twitter saying, like, you're just
off sentence.
What's that?
That's such a you sentence.
Yeah. But I sent him a DM. I'm like, your Twitter feed is awesome. You guys are hysterically funny. And he was so proud of it. He was like, yeah, thanks. We put a lot of effort into making this entertaining. So I think it's entertainment. Like,
yeah, but entertainment, we released Davante Adams?
Yeah, it's news, engagement. Why are you going to let Schefter get it when we could put the news out?
Well, because I think there's I'd love to talk to a marketing person about this, but I don't think you ever highlight when it's something bad.
I think engagement is engagement.
Totally agree.
Yeah. You want those followers, so when you have something good, they're there. Possibly. I mean, that's the thing.
Bad pub is pub, especially in New York.
It's not even bad. It's just it's nothing,
I
guess
think that's a pretty good pub.
but there's no context. We released them and we're going to get someone even better. Or it's just we released them. It's oh, nice, another failure. Amazing.
Well, I think Jets fans are probably quite happy that Davante Adams isn't coming back. Does any Jets fan want Davante Adams back?
Nobody thought he was coming back.
Yeah.
This is the thing.
Right.
I think you use the account to do the positive news. Hey, we're ice cream for everybody.
We're signing Aaron Rodgers.
No, these teams don't want to just be PR outlets. They don't want people to. Why would you follow something that's just a PR thing? You don't want hey, we have a community outreach program.
I'll tell you
all
what,
the crap the teams sell. Nobody wants to read that.
Can I see a live stream of Brick and Jack playing Madden? I want to see how good they are.
That actually would be tough. They should do that.
Yeah, right.
That
Okay.
would
These
get
are
a couple thousand.
The two guys who are the sons of the owner who had reservations about the team trading for Jerry Jeudy because his Madden rating wasn't very good. Are they any good as team builders?
Well,
What's their Madden rating as in dynasty mode or whatever?
Right. Team employees are really interested in highlighting criticism of owners. That's one thing that they always do.
Engagement's good engagement. I'm calling your bluff on
From a
that.
social media standpoint, that would be fire.
Yeah, except that everybody in a team walks on eggshell when the owner's name comes up. You could never do that. They
Listen, you want engagement. Saying we released Davante Adams is not going to be the thing. You have Brick and Jack playing Madden. I'm tuning in.
Yeah, of course. Well, give me Mark Davis at 4 a.m. in Las Vegas. I'm tuning to that. That doesn't mean
a
you're
day
going
in
to
the
see
life
it.
of Mark Davis would be. I would watch it.
A Mark Davis live stream of him getting a haircut would get millions of views.
Mark Davis at the barbershop. Whatever his barbershop looks like. It's probably some fancy salon.
Probably.
Yeah. Why do you put a GoPro inside Jerry's bus? None of this is good. Yes, of course there'd be more entertaining things.
Why are NFL teams doing this? This is great. These are all great ideas.
Because the owners are up to all sorts of bad things behind the scenes. There's no way the owners want any of that out.
Nothing matters anymore. Come on. What are we breaking rules? What rules?
You guys, first of all, with this segment, you're killing your chances of working for a team because the number one rule on any team is the owner is God. And anything
Don't worry. The ship sailed long ago for me working for any team.
Thank you, John Mara.
Yeah. You ever been around it when Robert Kraft's name is even mentioned in the Patriots building? Everybody stands up straight. Like, wait, is he in the Hall of Fame yet? What can we do to get him into the Hall of Fame? They're not
backfiring.
You're never getting behind the scenes of what these owners are really doing. I mean, who knows what David Tepper does on his Saturday night?
Throwing drinks at fans.
I watched Jerry Jones put 100 grams of salt on an Egg McMuffin. I feel like Dallas particularly doesn't quite care about their own image with their owner. I feel like they could definitely have some opportunities to see more Jerry.
Yeah.
McMuffin or something like that.
Yeah. After 11 o'clock, you are not seeing more Jerry. Trust me.
To be honest, I think we've probably seen enough.
Yeah.
Search the history.
You think you know what's really going on? There's stories out there about the Cowboys bust. Not Jerry in particular, but anyway, I will shut up now.
I'm just saying, you want engagement. It's not we released Davante Adams. And here comes the avalanche of tweets that are dunking on you for being dumb. 855-212-4227. How about do something that maybe a little more fun? Okay, lots to do, including, a possible reunion in the works. We'll tell you about it next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. We are on the brink of free agency. Every year, free agency gets pushed earlier and earlier. I know on Monday, legal tampering starts, which means on Sunday, we'll find out about every deal. And now, by next year, the tag deadline is on Tuesday. We probably the deals are done. Have you noticed that over the years, how free agency, all the reports come out way before they're supposed to?
Yeah, I mean... So it goes, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a big problem with it, that
Like-
whole legal tampering stuff. I just think make it a free-for-all.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL finally just gave up on trying to stop teams from doing that.
It's ridiculous.
I actually, yeah, and also it's so stupid that the Dolphins lost a first-round pick because of tampering with Tom Brady, right? Everybody tampers. You tell me you go to the scouting combine and people are fighting in Starbucks, like getting drunk together. You're telling me there was no tampering late at night? All these people talk. I'm sure half these decisions are made. But let's talk about one guy who's now out there. We just mentioned last segment, Davante Adams, 32. You said you had an interesting spot for him.
Well, it's not me. I think it's almost like the world is trying to put Davante Adams back with the Green Bay Packers, which I think is very appealing. You have Adams, who knows the LaFleur system, and you have a wide receiver room, Perloff, that may be talented, is talented, but they're so young and clearly lack a little bit of direction. You know, when you have guys who have to, wasn't Romeo Doubs was benched this year for a game, like you need somebody to come in there and be a pro. And, you know, for all of Davante Adams moving around the last couple years, I do think he would stabilize that receiver room. Obviously could help with Jordan Love. Yep. I don't think also that relationship got so toxic that he can't go back.
No.
So to me, if I'm Davante Adams, you know, he said the first time around, he didn't know that Jordan Love was going to be this talented. And to be fair to Adams, that was the word that was coming out of Green Bay. I remember I heard it too, that, you know, Jordan Love wasn't this like super impressive guy at practices. Rodgers is winning MVPs, but Rodgers wouldn't commit long term. So Adams was like, well, screw it. I'm going to go to the Raiders and team up with my former college quarterback. But now, with the information we have today, Jordan Love is one of the bright young stars in the league. So Adams and a reunion in Green Bay, I love.
So here are the odds from DraftKings updated. Packers are actually number 1. The Chargers are number 2. The Niners are number 3. And the Rams are number 4. But I ask you this, Maggie.
Yeah.
What do the Chargers, Niners, and Rams have in common that the Green Bay Packers do not have?
I feel like I could make a weather joke here, but I'm not going to do that to our friends in Green Bay.
You're on the right track. They're in Los Angeles. And wasn't this whole thing about Davante Adams leaving Green Bay for Vegas is because he wanted to be closer to home? And he's from California. I do think.
Yeah, but is that out the window when you go to Jersey? You might as well go to Mars. I mean, it's as far away as you can get.
I think that, and I know he still has that gorgeous home that we saw on Netflix in Vegas. I think the West Coast teams, if he's a true free agent and he's got the Packers, Chargers, Niners, and Rams, I think those teams, if they do want Davante Adams, are going to try and sell the weather. I'm not 100% convinced that Davante might not pick going closer to home over Green Bay. You're right. Football-wise, it's a great fit. I do think he has a good relationship with the Packers, but I wonder if the Chargers come in there and say, hey, look at our facility. We're in it's sunny all the time. If he goes to those teams, it's because of the weather.
Okay, but you've told me, and we've talked about it for the, you know, Ferrari that is Justin Herbert, and the, you know, skill set is totally tantalizing. They are a team that's going to want to run the ball. Now, they need more. They need more than just Lad McConkey. Clearly, they need more weapons. But if Davante Adams, like, do you want to go to a place where it's going to be more of a run first, or do you want to go to a place where I think Matt LaFleur would show he's going to throw the ball to Davante Adams at all costs?
Yeah, I mean, it would be purely, well, it'd be an LA decision. I think at the end of the day, to go home would be a big deal for Davante Adams. You're right. As far as what's a better offense for him, Green Bay by far.
Yeah, we already saw it.
Yeah, the Niners being third, I had poo-pooed a caller earlier. I didn't realize that they were that interested.
Yeah. California.
That sounds odd to me because the Niners are a drafted and developed team bringing in that guy. Well, they did trade for McCaffrey, and then the Rams make so much sense because they lost Kupp. They definitely need somebody. I was actually surprised, and I'm an idiot probably, why the Rams didn't want to keep Cooper Kupp if they could have got him for cheaper. Feels like they know something that everyone else doesn't.
Well, now that Stafford is re-signed, I was wondering, is there a reunion with Kupp? Like, does Stafford throw his weight around to say, listen, I really want Cooper Kupp, and, you know, they work something out, but if Davante Adams now is available.
But I don't know. The Rams sent out that, we were talking about teams that send out tweets when they release players. The Rams sent out a lot of goodbye Cooper Kupp stuff. They can't bring him back now. Too awkward, Maggie. Awkward. I mean, the social media guy's like, wait, I can't put out a Cooper Kupp is back.
Yeah, you guys told me all publicity is good publicity, and now I'm going to look like a dope.
Another team, by the way, how about the Steelers? They should sell the farm for Davante Adams. That is a team who needs a Davante Adams.
Well, but if you think he wants to get back to California.
Yeah, I know. No, the weather.
Steeler country is not that.
And the Patriots have been mentioned as well. That makes they need a number one receiver again.
But you're not winning right now with the Pats, unless you think they're having a Commanders-like turnaround.
If it's the same money, he's picking the weather. I know you think I focus too much on weather and traffic. Now, the traffic's bad in LA. That's a downside.
I was going to say.
You buy, you rent near the facility.
I think we're borderlining on, a slight, I want to say obsession. I feel like that word is a little too strong, but your love of Davante Adams' home in Las Vegas.
It's amazing. It's built into a mountain.
No, I get it, but like you understand that he's also just a rich person.
He also has a Taco Bell in that house, right?
Yeah, he does have the Taco Bell as well. You can't just move the Taco Bell around.
Imagine what your house would smell like if you actually had a Taco Bell inside of it. Anyway,
I mean,
glorious.
You're acting like, rich people can't have multiple homes places.
Well, I mean, if he signs with the Rams or Chargers, he's going to have to, because I don't know when practice starts, but if he gets caught on the 405 around 10 a.m., or maybe if he goes over to the 10, I mean, like, we're talking about a nightmare situation.
You're going to need lots of Taco Bell to get through that drive. Or do you want to be trapped in the car after eating a lot of Taco Bell?
I don't think that's the route you want to take.
Full disclosure, I just saw the skit, The Californians from Saturday Night Live, because it's a Volkswagen commercial now, where Kristen Wiig and Fred Armisen are like, they're Californians who are singly focused on traffic. I get it. If you sign with the Rams or Chargers, you have to have a traffic plan, Maggie. I'm not joking.
He's got to live near the facility.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you have to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in the free agent negotiation. Now we're getting to the real stuff. I mean, listen, we're in an office where half of the conversations in this office are about beating the congestion pricing toll at 5 a.m. in New York City. Commuting is a big deal, and I think we're talking free agency. If I'm going to a free agent's home or the agent, I'm like, listen, you come to my team, it's only going to take you 15 minutes. You go to Atlanta, are you kidding me? Do you know how bad it gets around rush hour?
I love it. It's a little bit different tactic than, say, Pat Riley when he puts the rings out on the table. That's,
no. I'm selling weather and traffic. That's all I got as a team.
Am I the only one confused when this Taco Bell and Jimmy Butler Starbucks come up about the logistics of having these things in someone's house? Like, you can't have all the Taco Bell ingredients just sitting in Davante Adams' house in case he wants Taco Bell. Like, isn't there a lot of waste?
But, Bogusch, that's a commercial.
But, like, the Jimmy Butler thing is not.
Right, but the two are not the same.
No, I know, but but there's this gimmicky thing, like there's just Starbucks sitting there waiting to hopefully maybe Jimmy Butler drinks some at some point.
That part is fascinating.
He's got the barista who's making it on call.
Right.
But the coffee will stay for a while. You make a point, like, lettuce is going to go bad. Tomatoes are going to go bad. But I would say this about Taco Bell. I've ordered probably everything off their menu at some point in my life.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I
Classy.
was a teenager driving around upstate New York, and
American
they're open till 4.
teenager. Come on.
Yeah, American teenager. You haven't had anything on the Taco Bell menu? I've sampled everything. It's basically the same few ingredients. It's chicken or beef, and then it's sometimes you get some refried beans or whatever, but everything else is kind of the same. It's the same type of cheese, same type of lettuce. Again,
sure, but like you can sit there, like you can have your vat of mystery meat,
Yeah.
and you're going to have a lot of Maggies come into a regular store and
Right.
buy it. Like, are you waking? Is there somebody prepping every morning in case they're going to use this stuff?
This is so weird coming from you, because you make fun of EJ all the time for not understanding that pro wrestling is fake.
Yeah.
You understand that as a Taco Bell commercial.
Yeah. But Jimmy Butler's thing is real.
But yes, but we're all focused on keeping the ingredients fresh for Taco Bell.
I know. It's very.
Maybe
that's
he
not
unusual for you.
I know.
To take a leap of faith like that.
I know, but it's like that's where my head goes, and I think it is just more about the way my brain works. Like, if that was real, my first thought would be, this is a wasteful operation.
You know, he also has a golf cart riding around his house indoors in that commercial.
Yeah, that makes sense.
My first thought.
Can you also imagine a professional athlete eating Taco Bell every day?
Yes,
He wouldn't be playing till he's 32.
Chad Johnson still eats McDonald's every day, doesn't he?
That's
He's
true.
not playing.
Taco Bell's not that unhealthy.
It is.
Well, it's not great.
I don't think so. I think it's relatively healthy for fast food. It's not a Big Mac with cheese.
Yeah, let me just get 2 cheesy gordita crunches.
And then go run a couple routes.
Let's get the taco salad. You'll be fine.
Have you ever
the
seen
taco salad, a 50,000 calorie salad?
Yes.
Like, is that even lettuce? You can't. Taco salad, not just Taco Bell. I'm saying any taco salad is
any fast food salad.
That's just the illusion of eating healthy.
I remember when Wendy's had launched their salads. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get one of those, and I read the ingredients and the nutrition facts. It's insanity. You might as well get a hamburger.
That's what they're hoping.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, with the cheese and bacon and like blue cheese and that huge packet of dressing.
With
like
the
it's
dressing.
not, it's not good.
All right.
It's not a salad.
Well, I'm scrapping my plans for an in-house Taco Bell now. That I know.
But here's the question. If you could pick any fast food restaurant to have in your home, which one would it be? Because we talked yesterday about Egg McMuffins and McGriddles. Would you want the all-day breakfast of a Mickey D's?
McMuffin or something like that.
Yeah. How about Chipotle? Is that too high-end?
No, I don't think so. It's fast food.
Definitely go with Chipotle.
They wouldn't want to be in this conversation, I feel like.
Oh, too bad.
It has a different name. It's called, fast casual or something?
Yeah.
That's fast casual.
Yeah, they
which I think
wouldn't-
counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they would prefer us not to make them Taco Bell equivalent.
Chipotle.
How about any chain? Like, would you just automatically pick the Cheesecake Factory because it's got
No.
everything on the menu? So every craving you have could be satisfied?
Would you get P.F. Chang's? And
That could be good.
that's kind of high-end for this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing chain restaurant, it's going to be tough to beat Cheesecake Factory.
Pollo Campero.
A Fogo de Chao. That's pretty
Okay,
good.
let's go back to just fast food then. It has to have a drive-through.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
I mean,
It's good.
oh, Chick-fil-A.
Listen, I don't discriminate when it comes to fast food.
What about In-N-Out?
That's another good one.
Still never had it.
Never indulged, yeah.
Really?
It's really
Oh,
Well, I haven't been west of the Mississippi, so.
Ever?
Road trip.
Is New Orleans west of the Mississippi?
It depends. I think you can cross the Mississippi in New Orleans.
This the whole time we've been trying to shoehorn Bogusch into Perloff's trip to San Antonio. It should be Manny.
I'd be so down.
Shake Shack.
It's another
I
good
mean,
one.
you would die of being.
Overrated.
A little bit.
Oh my God.
It's good, but it's a little small for those prices. But
Agreed.
I digress.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You guys are
Five
crazy.
guys, you get your bang for your buck. It might be $35, but you know what? With all the extra fries that you get at the bottom of the bag, oh baby.
You guys don't
What
like.
about like Domino's? Would you go pizza? No.
Must be inebriated. 24/7.
And
Pizza-
Taco Bell, you want to be stone cold sober? Good luck.
Also, Pizza Hut over Domino's.
I'd say Papa John's over both of them.
Oh, Papa John's. Ooh.
Papa John's
Can't
is
get there.
cardboard. I can't stand Papa
Man,
John's.
we're
But that
killing ourselves with sponsorships right now.
But that garlic sauce, though.
I'm definitely in a different. You guys not liking Shake Shack. It blows
No.
my mind. How
I'm
can
with you.
anyone
No,
not eat?
that's
Shake
crazy.
Shack.
I
The
think
only
it's
thing
overrated.
is you'll die because there's too many calories. It's just too delicious.
Don't
you
tell
can't
me
have
it's
it
a
in
good
your house.
time.
I like Shake Shack. I agree with Manny that it's not a lot of food.
Right, but if you have it in your house and it's there all the time,
That's a good point.
you're going to
Yeah.
become the whale.
And they
I
got a
mean,
chicken
you
sandwich
Put on
too,
so much
so-
weight. Their milkshakes are
The whale.
incredible.
What about, are we overthinking this? Is the answer Wendy's?
No, 1987 the answer was Wendy's, but not now.
Wendy's is solid, but I'm not picking Wendy's.
If we're doing old school, like legit fast food, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's is my choice.
Yeah,
I
I
agree
would
with
take
that.
it out of that. But now you have all these other options. Oh, I got one. Cane's with that orange
Yeah.
sauce and the garlic bread. Oh, or
The
whatever.
Texas toast?
Yeah, the bread thing they do.
It's too repetitive though.
Yeah,
they
the
got
menu,
one thing.
The menu is not very diverse.
It'd be like Popeyes. It's like you're basically just getting chicken.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could get impregnated by a Raising Cane's lunch order. There was a point to that once upon a time. I don't remember
How have we
what
not
it is.
tried, by the way?
I think it was somehow that Deion Sanders is connected to that drop, but I don't remember exactly. Anyway,
Congratulations, Lucas. Your brother is a chicken strip.
Do you believe that?
Clucky Gray, welcome aboard.
what did we have? Cluck You. They sent us some stuff once
Yeah.
upon a time. That was delicious.
But is that a chain though? That's a local chain.
Yeah, there's more than one, or there was more than one in New York, but I don't know how far outside the city
If we
it
put up this
extended.
poll, I think Chick-fil-A is a strong front runner because I was at a rest stop this weekend and the Chick-fil-A line was 2.5 miles long.
Closed on Sundays, though.
Yeah, but it's in your house. You can keep it open if you
Chick-fil-A
want.
at your house on Sunday.
They close on Sundays right when you want it for football.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
know?
a tough one.
They're holding fast to that.
Well, so let's do a poll. What do we put on there? You want Wendy's?
I think Wendy's should be on there. I think Taco
Chick-fil-A.
Bell's on there.
Chick-fil-A, Shake Shack.
Is
We
Shake
gotta
Shack
have-
all over the country?
Yes.
We gotta have the original
Yeah,
in there. We
McDo.
gotta, yeah.
We got 4 choices thanks to Elon Musk, that bozo. So we got
Speaking of Ronald McDonald,
we got to get 4. We got to be all on the same page with this poll. I'm very, very excited about this.
All right.
So
well,
you guys want to do old school ones. So no Chipotle, no Shake Shack.
I think we do the big 4. Is that McDonald's, Burger King, Taco
Nobody's
Bell?
picking McDonald's and Burger King.
Chipotle? Chipotle?
All right. Well, let's talk amongst ourselves on this one. Bogusch, can you hang out for a second? We left you no time. We'll do some headlines in just a minute. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Get to Bogusch's headlines in just a moment. Not an accident that we're playing John Cena's music on our return from break, and we will tease that for the great debate at the top of the hour. But got into a robust debate off of Davante Adams, his Taco Bell commercials, where he's got the Taco Bell in his house. If you could have a fast food restaurant in your home, which one would it be? Steven's in California. A lot of angles to look at this. Steven, what's up, dude?
Hey, good morning. Just on my morning commute, listen to you guys all the time. Great show. Appreciate the entertainment on the ride in. Just an idea on the fast food debate that's going on, and since it's limited to 4, and I think there's a lot more choices, how about a tournament style where we do like 3 or 4 different groups, and then the winner of each advances until we have a final winner.
Steven, love where your head's at. It is bracket season, March, officially bracket season in Sports Talk Radio land. So thank you for the call. Thank you for listening on your way to work, and stay safe. We actually have an idea for this year's bracket already.
We do?
And we're like, would you say knee deep, Pearl? Are we we're waist deep at this point?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we could still have this as a topic because there are 64 fast food. I have a list from foodindustry.com, the top 50.
Thank heavens.
50 fast food restaurants. There are a lot more fast food restaurants than you think. I think you could fill out 64 if you wanted, but I've never heard it. Can I tell you one? The number 50 is Taco John's. Has anyone ever heard of that? That sounds like a combination of every other fast food.
Long John Silver's and Taco Bell.
I mean, I got to be honest. I'm a little scared.
And Jimmy John's.
I'm a little scared of Taco John's.
Yeah, just call it Jersey Taco John's.
It's number 50 behind El Pollo Loco. Do you guys know that one?
Yeah,
that's from Breaking
Loco.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that's for a second. I was like, what was that called? What was the one in Breaking Bad
Los
called?
Pollos Hermanos, something like that, right?
Don't
Chicken
look at
Brothers?
Me. Don't look at me. I didn't watch it.
We know EJ didn't.
What was the name? It was Pollos. Was it just Pollos?
No.
No, it was something else.
Los
Yeah.
Pollos Hermanos.
I was right.
I
Okay,
did watch
Chicken
Breaking
Brothers.
Bad, you jerk.
Wait, what was you said the number one most successful fast food restaurant?
McDonald's, the top 5 are McDonald's 1, Starbucks 2, doesn't count, right?
Buc-ee's.
Chick-fil-A 3, so I think Chick-fil-A has a chance in our poll. 4 Taco Bell, 5 Wendy's, then Dunkin' Burger, Subway we forgot. Chipotle's number 10, Chipotle.
There it is.
Sonic Drive-In and Panera we forgot. Panera seems like getting a lot of buzz out there.
Nice little sandwich with some mac and cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not so bad. Okay, Bogusch, what do you got for us?
Not sure how significant it is, but more scoring history for LeBron last night.
Luka moving right. Luka's still moving right. Cross court to LeBron. 3 for 50,000. It's good. LeBron goes over 50K, and the crowd comes to its feet. And the Lakers lead 13-6. He did it on a 3-pointer.
John Ireland on Lakers radio.
I want my damn respect, too.
LeBron, the first player ever with 50,000 points combined between the regular season and playoffs. And even he's not sure how to process it.
I have no idea. I mean, that's a lot of points. I don't know. It's been a lot, to be honest. Obviously, picking up the game when I was a little kid and just having a love for the sport, and was hoping that someday I'd be able to play at the highest level. And I've been able to do that and really enjoy it. Really enjoy my career.
Man, it's always the origin story. Like I'm a LeBron fan, so just put that out there. But it's always kid from Akron. Never could have thought I'd be in this position. It's like, no, dude, you are like a different species of human. Maybe you were actually meant to be this guy.
I love that you say you're a LeBron fan. He's the second greatest player, or top 2 player of all time.
We talked about how polarizing.
Yeah, but that being said, by the way, are we all think the same thing about this number, right? He's a compiler. He's like the Frank Gore of the NBA.
To Maggie's point, I did take out about 8 seconds of the Akron spiel from that clip just to get it to the end at a usable amount of time.
Just a kid from Northeast Ohio, man.
That's it. Just kid from Akron. Never could have thought I'd be here. It's like, well, you're 6'8". So that's the first thing that makes you unlike most of people.
You were a star at 16. This is pretty...
Yeah, I think you are actually that guy who should have been here. I think if somehow Manny got there, we'd be like, damn, Manny, how'd you get 50,000 points in the NBA? That is crazy.
That's a shot, Manny.
I'm just saying.
Manny, how's the dating life? Also not scoring. LeBron, 34 last night. Luka threw in 30 and 15
You don't know his
assists.
what is it?
I might have VD. You don't know.
His body counts?
I was like, what's the thing you swipe Tinder? You don't know his Tinder history. Kids still using Tinder?
Oh, big time.
I don't think Manny's lonely. Well, maybe.
He tells me he's lonely every day.
But he has a special Tinder which connects him with Knicks fans to talk about the game.
That's what I'm saying. Who needs women when I have Jalen Brunson that he keeps me satisfied? Why are you guys laughing?
I'm not.
Thanks, Cap.
LeBron and the Lakers won last night, 136-115 over the Pelicans. They've got their first 7-game win streak in 4 years. From the Giants to the Super Bowl and Offensive Player of the Year, and now to a record contract. Saquon Barkley signing a 2-year extension with the Eagles yesterday. It guarantees him $36 million. It makes Barkley the first running back ever with an annual average value over $20 million. Men's number 1 Auburn fell at 22nd ranked Texas A&M last night, 83-72. Number 10 Iowa State, a double OT loser at home to number 23 BYU, 88-83. And Texas took down number 25 Mississippi State, 87-82 in single overtime. And from the NHL, Carolina won in Detroit 2-1. The Red Wings have now dropped 3 straight, 5 of 7. So the Rangers technically hold the final playoff spot in the East for now. Guys, back to you.
This is very funny from Spencer in our chat, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet. Most prolific father-son scoring duo. LeBron with 50,000 and Bronny with, what does he got, like 7 points?
Does he even have 7?
Didn't he have 9 in a game
did.
and we celebrated, or 13 or something?
I don't remember the full breakdown, but the Aarons are the most prolific home run hitters in baseball history. And Hank has 755, and his brother has like 4.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Someone's doing the heavy lifting.
And Wayne and Brent Gretzky.
Yes, we talked about Brent.
Yeah.
Because we said you want to be the Gretzky of vasectomies.
Right.
And it was like, well, you could be Brent, and that would be a little concerning.
25 career points for Bronny James.
By the way, just to check, are they number 1? Are they really number 1? I mean, it'd be the Currys or somebody, right? Or the Kobe Bryant.
For scoring?
Yeah, is it LeBron and Bronny? I know we're kidding about this, but I'll bet you they're close.
No, I mean, Bron has 6,000 more points than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's second on the list now. He's got,
I'm saying
got him by
no,
3 seasons worth of scoring.
Right, so are Bronny and LeBron the top father-son scoring duo? We're joking about it. I'll bet you the Currys are close.
Maybe.
Currys are probably really close. I'm trying to do
the
math
Bryants,
but how many points did Dell average? He was 6th man of the year, so he wasn't
played
even
a long
starter.
time.
No, according to ESPN, from last month, so this is up to date-ish, LeBron and Bronny are number 1, and Bronny only had 9 at this point.
Yeah.
They've got 3,000 more points than the Bryants. The Currys have 37,000, and LeBron's number is 41.5.
Wow.
Yep.
So 3,000 more than the Bryant. Okay.
Yep.
Amazing.
Way to go,
Bronny's
Bronny.
just getting started.
Yeah, I mean, so LeBron by himself outscores the Bryants and everybody else. And Bronny is just extra.
That James dynasty. Real heavy lifting happening from father and son.
Stat compiler, though.
I know, according to Perloff,
Frank
the
Gore.
compiler.
Oh, Patrick Ewing and Patrick Ewing Jr. are number 9 on this list.
Hell
Ewing, 24,815. Jr., 3.
How about the Hardaways? They on there?
They're number 7. So you've got the Brons, the Bryants, the Currys, Michael and Klay Thompson, Dolph and Danny Shays, Rick and Brent Barry, the Hardaways, Jimmy Walker and Jalen Rose, the Ewings, and then Rick and John Barry.
So Kenyon Martin Jr. didn't make that list?
Not yet.
Just wait.
Also receiving votes.
Wait, the Thompsons are on there?
They are. They are number 4.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, Michael and Clay. Okay.
Yeah, LeBron's got a lot of points. I think that's the message here.
Yeah, I'm not sure anyone's catching this one.
Wait till Bronny gets going.
Really going to put it out of reach. 855-212-4227. Do G League points count?
Oof.
I don't know. Coming up next, the great debate. We're excited about this one. Stick around.
Andrew Perloff loves his turtle, call it chill shot bliss. He feeds it kale and lettuce, then gives it a little kiss. Andrew Bogusch's turtles got a mansion in the tank with a slide, a tiny hammock, and a treasure chest bank. 2 so Tony rolls in, his turtles got swag. Cruising slow but steady, repping that reptile flag. Meanwhile, Kevin Lamel's got tacos on his plate. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, he's got no time to wait. Turtle love, taco dreams, Andrew and Andrew living supreme. Two-ton Tony, slow and steady crew. Kevin's got breakfast tacos, what's Peter gonna do? Yo, Perloff's turtles chillin', basking in the heat. Bogusch's turtles flexing, got gold chains on its feet. Tony's turtles on TikTok, racking up views, while Kevin's tacos sizzle, serving up the news. But Velotti's MIA, not a damn thing new. Work? Nah, he'd rather just hit snooze. We're out here hustling, making turtles the stars, and Pete's just ghosting like he's hanging on Mars. Turtle love, taco dreams, Andrew and Andrew living supreme. Two-ton Tony, slow and steady crew. Kevin's got breakfast tacos, what's Peter gonna do? Yo, Perloff's turtle spotlight, tacos taking the stage, while Velotti's excuses keep showing his age. Perloff's turtles name LeBron, Bogusch calls his taco just for the show. Tony's turtles trending, breaking the mold. Kevin's got a taco so spicy it's gold. And Pete, yeah, fuck that guy, still a no-show. The legend of Velotti always laying low. Turtle love, taco dreams, Andrew and Andrew living supreme. Two-ton Tony.
Down in Music City, there's a man named Jay. He's tuned in to Maggie and Perloff every single day. Life's been a battle, he's been losing for years, but now his motto's clear: no more losing tears. He's been down, he's been low, but now he's ready for a brand new show. Jay's got questions, can't let it slide. Who's running the YouTube on the Infinity side? Jay in Nashville calling out the crew. Who's behind the curtain? He demands the truth. Peter Velotti's ghosting, no work in sight, but Jay's got the Maggie and Perloff show to make it right. Make it right. Been a loser so long, my losing's all gone. Tapped out my bad luck, it's time to move on. From his couch in Nashville, he's solving the case. Infinity's mystery, he's all over the place. He's got theories, he's got plans. Is it Moose or Perloff behind the cams? And Velotti, forget it, he's MIA. Jay's the one who's showing up today. Jay in Nashville calling out the crew. Who's behind the curtain? He demands the truth. Peter Velotti's ghosting, no work in sight, but Jay's got the Maggie and Perloff show to make it right. Make it right. Jay's turning his luck, rising up the ranks. Infinity answers, he's storming the banks. Velotti might miss it, but Jay's always there with a sharp-eye question and a comfy chair. Jay in Nashville calling out the crew. Who's behind the curtain? He demands the truth. Peter Velotti's ghosting, no work in sight, but Jay's got the Maggie and Perloff show to make it right. Jay in Nashville, he's taking the stage. From loser to legend, he's turning the page. Infinity's mystery, Velotti's no. He's the real MVP of the Maggie and Perloff show. Make it right.
30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Get back to all the NFL news in just a moment, but Wednesdays means the great debate around here. We got a doozy for you today. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We love doing this on Wednesdays at this time, Pearl, because we can take something that's loosely based off the news and we can turn it into something much, much bigger. So you may have noticed a couple things have happened lately, Pearl.
Yeah.
In the world of professional sports, basketball, we had one of the most unpopular trades that we're probably going to see in quite a long time, which is Luka Doncic being traded to the Lakers, right? Mavs fans showing up with caskets.
Yeah.
You know, it's just been a horrific scene, just a debacle in Dallas. On Saturday night, we had something from the world of sports entertainment, which got people really ticked off, and that was this.
John Cena. Oh my God, John, what the hell are you doing? The final boss, John, what the hell? Always has a plan. After everything he's accomplished in his career, he's gonna stoop to this. You gotta be kidding me. This is absolutely ridiculous.
I didn't know they cursed on these broadcasts. Anyway, Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, I think. So this was John Cena turning heel. Even if you're not a sports, a wrestling fan, you may be familiar with John Cena because he's a huge
naysayer know.
major movie star. But his whole persona has been the babyface, the good guy.
Dog.
All the Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff he's done. It's like in the ring, but also real life. He's really lived this character of being the good guy. He turns heel, and this is like his final season, if you will, of being in WWE. So this was very unpopular, I'm being told. Unpopular that John Cena, after all these years of being the good guy, turns heel and is now the bad guy. So with that in mind, we get to the great debate.
The Great Debate Series.
So if we combine these two things that have happened recently, the Luka Doncic trade and John Cena turning heel, together you get the most unpopular moments in sports. Unpopular. Fans hate it. Doesn't even matter if you're actually a fan of the team, Pearl. I think we were outraged on behalf of Mavs fans, and you and I are not Mavs fans. I think everyone was, maybe except for Laker fans.
Yeah.
And I think everyone could get behind, this John Cena turning heel. And it was just, again, the word is unpopular. So we're asking, what is the most unpopular move in the history of sports? Should I go first?
Yeah, please.
All right, I'm going to take you guys back to a day that we will remember forever in sports. And it was July 8th, 2010. The biggest story of that summer, and really the years leading up to that summer, was LeBron James's first free agency. Then we get word, almost like the smoke coming out of the Vatican. LeBron has picked a team, and he's going to be announcing it at the Boys and Girls Club in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Not Northeast Ohio?
Not Northeast Ohio, Manny. Greenwich, Connecticut, the Switzerland of states. I have no idea. And Jim Gray was going to be doing the interview. This is the decision.
What's your decision?
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat. That was the conclusion you woke up with this morning.
That was the conclusion I woke up with this morning.
Oh, awkward. LeBron's nervous. This was actually 6 minutes into the interview. They had been filibustering to make sure they got like maximum, TV eyeballs. Fans took to the streets. You heard the gasp there. Like somebody clapped. That must have been Rich Paul. The gasps, and all these stunned children behind him, burning jerseys.
It wasn't the children behind him burning the jerseys.
No. Well, maybe. But no, not in that moment. Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cavs, was clearly blindsided by this, puts out a message in Comic Sans of all fonts, calling LeBron selfish, calling this a betrayal, and vowing that they would win a title before LeBron does. Spoiler, that didn't happen. Anyway, you had one guy, an author named Scott Rabb, I believe was his name.
Oh, yeah.
Wrote a book called The Whore of Akron, One Man's Search for the Soul of LeBron James.
I love Scott Rabb. Longtime Esquire or GQ?
One of those.
Yeah, diehard Cavs fan.
Yeah.
Who, by the way...
A little harsh on the title there.
Yeah, ironically, they all jumped back on board with LeBron.
So if we're talking about the most unpopular decisions in sports, and LeBron, by the way, who had been kind of like a John Cena type character, this was looked at as a heel turn also, which is one of the motivations behind this great debate. LeBron's decision, Pearl, the most unpopular moment in sports history.
And there is a tie to my high school, Lower Merion High School, in here, because Take My Talents was what Kobe Bryant said in 1996. In my gym, the gym I made famous as a high school basketball player, said, I'm taking my talents to the NBA. So LeBron was just paying homage to Kobe. Nobody cared. They were just so angry at him. Everybody was furious.
I forgot that year when you took Brandy to the prom. that was you, wasn't it? Not
but you know what? The other thing,
the
too.
Drink?
The black hat commercial, he literally put on the black hat in a commercial a year later.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, it's worse than John Cena. LeBron was beloved. And then he had to find this new role as a bad guy, and it did not work. He did not like it. In fact, he didn't like it so much he went back to Cleveland.
Yeah, right. Won him a title and everything. We're talking about the most unpopular decisions in the history of sports. I said the decision. EJ, go ahead.
Okay, so I wasn't born for this, but I hear the stories, and I think about what would happen if this happened to my team. And it seemed to upset pretty much the entire football world. So I take you back to a time, 1984, where you have the Baltimore Colts, who were just recently bought by the Irsay family, Robert Irsay. And he's parading around all through the NFL trying to find potentially a new home because he was unhappy with the situation in Baltimore. And pressed with asking about whether or not they would leave, weeks before, actually I think the day before, he said this.
I have not any intention of moving the team. If I did, I would tell you about it, okay?
Well, he never told them about it. And in fact, overnight, midnight, March 28th, the Colts move from Baltimore to Indianapolis. Yep. Literally, you see moving trucks, the Mayflower, the famous image in the snow, packing up stuff from the Baltimore facility to ship it over to Indianapolis. And it was a heartbreaking moment for the fans of Baltimore, a great franchise, a beloved franchise. Of course, remember John Unitas and the history behind that. And they actually were talking to employees who showed up at the facility to kind of memorialize what once was.
Very sad right now.
Were you a fan as well as an employee?
I think I missed one game in 4 years.
When you have to sneak out in the middle of the night, don't inform your vested employees of your intentions. I don't want to work for people like that.
Well, I figured I'd take a look at the complex one last time. It's the sneakiest thing I've ever seen done in my life. I can't believe it. In 14 years, I missed one football game, and I just don't know what I'm going to do this fall.
Heartbreaking, gutless, just sick. I mean, sick move by the Irsay family. Not surprising given what we've seen from them over the past several decades. But this is, to me, my most hated moment, my most unpopular moment. The Colts moving overnight, not telling anybody, from Baltimore to Indianapolis.
It's a good one. And then we had sort of a 2.0 version with Art Modell and the Browns years later.
Yep.
Okay, we're asking for the most unpopular moment in sports. Manny, go ahead.
I, too, will go back to 2010, a long, long time ago. I will go to Detroit. In early June, Armando Galarraga pitching a perfect game, 8 2/3 of perfect pitching. Ground ball on over to the right side, and, well...
The 1-1 pitch, swinging a ground ball right side. Backhanded by Cabrera. He's going to turn, throw to first, and they didn't get him! Oh, man!
Are you kidding me? Oh, my goodness.
That's what it sounded like on Tigers radio. A moment that all of us just basically still cringe about it.
Oh, I'm ticked off just listening to that.
15 years ago, basically, almost, 2 months away from the anniversary, 15th year anniversary, a moment that makes us all still cringe. Armando Galarraga, Jim Joyce blowing the call over at first base. Armando Galarraga getting the 27th out, the next AB. It all stinks. Armando Galarraga's imperfect, perfect game.
I don't need to fact check you here, but that couldn't have been 15 years ago. That was yesterday. That was 15 years ago? Doesn't that seem like it happened more recently?
Well, think about it. It was really like the straw that broke the camel's back to get replay into baseball. So in some ways, I guess a good thing, but that was such a devastating moment. Jim Joyce, remember, crying. I think he went on the Today Show the next day and apologized publicly. Manny, the hair is like standing up on my arms, just getting so mad thinking about that. And You didn't mention how classy Armando Galarraga was in handling that. Not only did he forgive Joyce, he didn't even make a big stink about it on the mound where he had every right to just lose it on Jim Joyce, and he didn't.
Just kind of smiled, looked back at him, and went right back onto the mound to get that 27th out. And then the next day, they exchanged the lineup cards behind the dish because Jim Joyce was slated to be the home plate umpire. It's incredible how they handled it as well, both of them.
I still don't understand why baseball didn't just fix it.
They could have just do that. They don't asterisk. They don't do anything.
But that was the one time where you could have done it. It was the last out of the game. It was a clear mistake. There was no butterfly effect. It wouldn't have affected anything else in the game. They could have just said, you know what? That was a perfect game.
I don't know
Jim
if
Joyce messed up.
I
don't care. I want it.
Yeah, I know. It would have been satisfying for the fans. But would it have? Okay, Bogusch. Go ahead, sir.
So, again, this is based on Saturday night, John Cena's heel turn. I offer you the very original in that category.
And then there was one, and it was Sting, and he didn't look too good. Hulkamania! Hulk Hogan is here! Hulk Hogan's here! Hulk Hogan is in the building! You damn right he is! Go get him, Hulkster! Yeah, but whose side is he on? What are you talking about? Whose side is he on? What are you talking about? Yes, sir! Get him, Hogan! Go get him, baby! Come on and get some of this now. Who's bad now, boys? Hulk Hogan arrived. Hulk. What is he doing? Oh, my God. Is he the third man? He's the third man. What the hell is going on here? Hulk Hogan has betrayed WCW. He is the third man. Look at this picture. Oh, my God. What the hell is going on? Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Probably the lowest shot ever given to professional wrestling. That man did right there, Hulk Hogan. Let's get everybody out of the dressing room right now and kick his rear end.
Yeah, let's do it. Manny, this was 1996.
Damn.
This is the Bash at the Beach, the main event. It's Macho Man Randy Savage, Lex Luthor, and the singer Sting defending the WCW against the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, plus a secret third partner. That person, unknown, match begins, bad guys are winning, out comes Hogan. We think to save WCW. Instead, the thud in the middle is him dropping the leg on Macho Man. The NWO is born. We soon have Hogan in that terrible fake beard. All hell breaks loose. Hearts are broken. This is the original. Can't ever forgive this.
It's so funny. I didn't remember the singer Sting was there too. Actually,
that's what I assume. That's what it said. Sting.
Yeah,
there's only one.
He was on the side
singing every breath you take.
Every breath you take, and doing his meditation practice to win.
He's doing tantric to Roxanne.
That's actually
Hulk Hogan.
That's actually what Travis Scott was doing when John Cena turned heel.
He did the first ever 24-hour figure four leg lock, if you know what I mean.
And it felt great.
If you know what I mean.
Yes, same Sting.
By the way, Sting, if anyone isn't catching the joke, is famous for being intimate for 24 hours straight. Most boring thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
You think it'd be boring?
Oh, my God. 24 hours straight?
You should be raising money for something. It's like a telethon.
How many times do you check your watch during that session? It's like, honey, can we turn on the TV? Times 1,000. Let's rent the Brutalist. It's 3 hours and 35 minutes long. That doesn't make any sense. But it makes as much sense as Sting being at a wrestling match.
It also wasn't Lex Luthor either.
Yeah.
Oh, you said Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Couple factual
I almost went
inaccuracies.
Steve
Once
Nash,
again,
Anthony Michael Hall.
Maggie, what do you think of Bogusch going to pro wrestling? He has a history of teasing these guys about pro wrestling.
I think he's giving them a taste of their own medicine. Like
I'm stunned.
You think that John Cena was the reason we're doing the most unpopular sports moments of all time, but I'll give you the OG.
Yeah, the real one, the one that actually hurt and meant something.
Okay, I'm going to stay consistent with the theme, but first, can I tell you, I'm just going to take a slight left turn for the one I did not choose. When we always do the great debate, I look at lists, so I will look at the worst moments in sports.
Yeah.
A lot of what
this
you guys
is most unpopular.
Most unpopular. A lot of what we've said is on this list. All these things are.
Well, we didn't cheat, but.
Right. But
you need to jog your memory.
My point was that you guys are right on spot for unpopular things, but you forgot about one. The number one thing on this Yard Barker list, is a popular sports website, was Merkel's boner. Anyone remember that?
What?
Merkel's boner.
Is that what Sting calls it?
Yes. It's one of the most famous
That's what they do
plays
hour 10.
in MLB history. Fred Merkel, the New York Giants, appeared to have a crucial win over the Chicago Cubs after he scored the winning run, but he missed second base. After the fans ran onto the field, Johnny Evers, famous baseball player, went back and tagged the base. It was called Merkel's boner. So I thought about doing that just to make Manny laugh. And it
What a time that you could use that as a headline and it was acceptable.
Yes.
And no one laughed.
Bonehead.
It's right there.
I know.
But I went with the modern version of Merkel's boner, which happened in 2000.
Which you need Blue Chew for.
Merkel's boners. They got the San Diego chicken canceled by Maggie.
Listen, he opened the door by bringing Sting into this. But
It's also brought to you by Cialis Tadalafil.
okay, I have actually the 2018 NFL season, their version of Merkel's boner. Let's play it.
Quick snap. Breeze. Pass is incomplete. No flag for Tommy Lee Lewis. Nickel Roby Coleman delivered a hit. And the two officials talk to each other. Crowd's going crazy as there's no flag right on the Saints sideline. Mike Pereira, if that was a penalty, that would have in essence ended the game. Did you think it was a penalty?
Yeah, I really do. I know it's easy in slow motion. They're close to bang bang, but that was early enough. Even high contact on the
recent. Clearly contact.
Yeah, so I wanted to go with the bad officiating route, kind of like Manny did, because nothing makes me angrier, and I think nothing makes everybody more mad than bad calls, especially one that cost somebody a Super Bowl, like the Saints and the Rams. Saints would have won the game, would have gone on to play the Patriots, and would have had a really good chance in that game. That wasn't a great Patriots team.
No.
Patriots beat the Rams 13-3. The rest is history. They bring in review on pass interference calls the next year. It didn't really work. But that, to me, was the most unpopular moment. Again, I just didn't think enough people knew Merkel's boner. I wanted to go that direction.
Well, you're on record as wanting to go with the...
Forget the boner.
This list, by the way, this list I'm looking at has the Merkel play followed by the Jim Joyce play. So it's right. It's like the 1912 version of this.
If we were just doing the two bad ref calls, so we're doing the most unpopular moment in sports, Manny's Jim Joyce blows a perfect game for Armando Galarraga.
Joyce's boner.
Or
Or Holt's boner.
NFC Championship game.
You might go with the 72 Olympics. There was a bad call.
Bad basketball
That's
game.
a good one.
Doug Collins gets robbed of gold.
I think that's you're talking about unpopular. Everything we've talked about is unpopular. Team moves, bad calls.
Yep.
But if you're going bad calls, I understand what you're doing with Galarraga, but everybody was okay there. The Saints went to court to try and reverse this thing. They went to federal court, Manny.
Well, that's just because Galarraga was so classy about it. You know, he just sort of let it go. It's one of the all-time sportsmanship moves for Galarraga. They should name an award after him.
Couldn't be me. I'd need to see Jim Joyce after the game. There'd be furniture moving in the clubhouse.
Okay, so there you go. Our great debate today. The most unpopular moments in sports. This is based off of two big things that happened recently. John Cena turning heel, which got the WWE fans all ticked off. And, of course, the Luka Doncic trade, which is still and will forever be awful. Could have easily made this list.
Well, I think that there's so many Lakers fans. I think 35% of the audience is like, yes, let's go, Luka. It's kind of good for the NBA in the long run. No? Anyway, Merkel's boner is not going to make the poll.
This is going to be a tough poll. I'm trying to figure out who's not going to make it.
I mean, they're all so good.
They're all elite. This is like, usually one of us picks like an off the beaten path one that makes me easy to reject.
No, I think
this one is tough.
Maybe it's not a poll. Maybe it's just we put them all and you've got to write it in.
Yeah, but someone wants to win. That's the whole point of this. It's the debate. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Or just put 4 spots of Merkel's boner.
That'll guarantee Merkel's boner wins.
I'm tweeting out the Wikipedia page just so people understand this is a real thing. It's been called the most controversial game in baseball history by many historians.
And they came up with that name.
Wow.
I saw this list last night. I'm like, I guarantee this makes everyone laugh. I almost wanted to text it to you guys, but I figured I'd save it for air.
No,
how many people do you think came across that Wikipedia page thinking that something else would pop up.
Wait,
Pop
isn't
up, I see what you did
Wikipedia
there.
XXXXX?
Yeah, I was going to
Damn
say.
it, I'm on the wrong one.
Also, is nobody else thinking about former German Chancellor Angela Merkel?
I am.
Oh, I was
I
about
was
Kent
too.
Merker, the former pitcher.
Anyway.
Yeah, because when I think erotic, Angela Merkel comes to the top of the list.
Listen, I'm sure it's somebody's cup of tea out there. You got a bunch of freaks and geeks out there. 855-212-4227.
I'm more of a Madeleine Albright guy myself.
Typical.
Yeah, it's not, who was the Iron Lady? Margaret
Margaret
Thatcher.
Thatcher.
Oof. The original Sydney Sweeney.
Hot women of history.
Is that right?
Okay, let us know. What did we miss? The most unpopular moment in sports was what? 855-212-4227. Okay, how about something very popular? And that would be Prize Picks. We're obsessed with it around here. And the second half of the basketball season is there for you on Prize Picks because it's the best place to cash in your favorite sport. So I love combining the NBA with college hoops right now, Pro. Like, this is it. You know, we're in March. So you have awesome, Lakers, Warriors making a push here, and we're about to have conference tournaments coming up really soon. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app's super simple to use. All you do is pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection. You win up to 1,000 times your money. It's not rocket science, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have a new trend. I'm going to follow my Phillies players because I think, I'm going to make multiple picks, but if I can master that Phillies pitching staff, it's really going to help me in Prize Picks. And that's pretty much every day because baseball has started. So much fun. Join Prize Picks. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. It's available in 40+ states, including California and Texas. Just download the Prize Picks app today and use the code MNP and get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play just $5. That's code MNP on Prize Picks to get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get the $50 bonus credit for just playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Manned P.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Now Bailey rode into town with suspicion in his eyes, saying Kaplan's got a secret and he's hiding it inside. Sack Job's lost in darkness, Ryan streams a mess, Chappelle Wolf's just a spinning wheel. Oh Lord, what a distress. But Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily says it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Now Peter Bellotti, well he don't show, and that man's supposed to be running this show. If there's a tech problem, don't look at me. Ask the guy who's missing more than Tennessee tea. So Davey, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make strings fly. But Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily says it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Now Peter Bellotti, well he don't show, and that man's supposed to be running this show. If there's a tech believe me? Ask the guy who's missing more than Tennessee team. So, Danny, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make streams fly. Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Bailey says it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Oh, don't play no games. Oh, babe, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make streams fly.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Perloff Show. Great Debate Wednesday. Most unpopular moment in sports history. We got a wide variety here, going all the way back to 1908.
You went back to 08.
Yeah. Don't discount Merkel's boner, Maggie.
What's the newspaper who labeled his boneheaded play as a boner? Do you know?
I do not know. But that being said, it is such a famous thing. Johnny Evers, was part of that triple play combination.
Yeah, Tinker, Stevers to Chance.
So this is a big deal. Actually, if we had Bob Costas on, he could probably talk about this game for an hour and a half.
Ken
Giants
Burns
manager,
probably did a documentary.
John McGraw was the manager for the Giants. This is crazy. But actually, if it had happened more recently, it probably could have made this list of things that everybody hated. Most unpopular sports moments.
Yeah, most unpopular sports moments. I went with LeBron's decision. EJ went with the Colts leaving Baltimore for Indianapolis middle of the night. Manny went with Jim Joyce, the umpire, blowing Armando Galarraga's perfect game. Bogusch went with Hulk Hogan turning heel, Bash at the Beach, and Perloff went with the debacle of the NFC Championship game where the Saints were hosed by a no call. There should have been a pass interference, never happened, and it basically sent the Rams to the Super Bowl. So we're asking you the most unpopular sport moment. Tommy is in Vancouver, Washington. Good morning, Tommy.
Yes, to me, there's no worse moment than when Pete Carroll called a pass at the 1 yard line against New England. There wasn't a jaw in the Northwest that didn't hit the ground in that play, and it ruined my whole year.
And it may have ruined a dynasty, Tommy. I mean, if you asked Marshawn Lynch and some of those Seattle Seahawks, thank you for the call, they thought they were poised to go on a run. This is what it sounded like.
Play clock at 5. Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler. Unreal.
Did you understand anything I just said?
I mean, launched a lot of conspiracy theories, too. Were they trying to hand the MVP to Russell Wilson? I don't actually believe that one. I don't think you're thinking that way in that moment. I just thought they thought it was a play that was going to work, and Belichick had been scouting it.
Yeah, I mean, they might have thought that Marshawn would get stuffed on that run, and time was running out.
What's going on, boss man?
People, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it was a conspiracy theory. I think it's really hard to make the right call with 30 seconds left. I thought about that one for this list. That was a good call.
Let's go to Mike, who's in Syracuse. Mike, the most unpopular sports moment of all time was what?
August 1988 shook an entire country when the LA Kings got Wayne Gretzky out of Canada and Edmonton.
Yep. I can't even imagine like the devastation there. Now, forgive me on this one because I don't remember leading up to the trade. Was there any wind? Like, were people? Was there any inkling that Gretzky was going to get traded, or did this one drop like completely blindside people?
Well, the people that were in the know knew that Peter Pocklington needed money.
Yeah.
Canada's economy was such that the team just couldn't exist, couldn't keep paying everybody that they were paying. I mean, this was a dynasty that just got broken up.
Yep. No, it was amazing. Here's a little from that moment.
I'm disappointed about having to leave Edmonton. I truly admire all the fans and respect everyone over the years.
Unbelievable moment. Thank you for that call. Just, Mike's right. A whole country devastated by that. Not just a city or, a team. We're talking about Luka getting traded. People are upset. The great one getting traded. Bogusch, you seem like you want to weigh in on that.
I can't.
Why?
It's not a popular opinion.
Yeah. What did the Kings had to pay 25% extra on getting Gretzky too, right?
I was going to say we should do the Miracle on Ice from the Soviet perspective. That ruined a whole country.
I think my joke is worse.
Yeah.
We bring politics into it, guys.
Yeah.
We're staying away
That's
from
not
that
politics.
this morning.
That's American fiscal policy. Now Gretzky would have cost 25% more. I mean, that's how.
Is that a second first-round pick? How does that translate into hockey dollars?
I don't know. Oh, I hate Kathy Hochul.
No, guys. Don't worry. It's all going to be good in the long run. Okay, let's get another one in here. Adam is in Vancouver. Hi, Adam. How are you? Most unpopular sports moment. What was it?
How are you doing today?
We're good.
Good. So I'm going to take you back to the year 2000. Michael Heisley, he purchases the Vancouver Grizzlies and promises he's going to keep them in Vancouver and build a winner. Even goes as far as to sing the national anthem at the season opener. And then, sure enough, at the end of the year, moves them to Memphis. And so begins my lifelong grudge and hatred of the NBA.
Man, Adam, you have a reason to have beef there. And I would say ditto everyone in the city of Seattle, where Clay Bennett said the same thing. And thank you, Adam, for the call. Yes, go ahead. Said that he was going to keep the team in Seattle and then move them to Oklahoma City.
Same story with I have friends who are St. Louis Rams fans, and they just turned off the NFL altogether.
But here's the thing about the Rams. I hated it for them, and I hate it for the city of St. Louis, but they were openly threatening the NFL. We're going to move. Remember Stan Kroenke, his jet would be spotted all over the place. I feel like that was an open secret.
But
they're
the only team that got sued and lost for illegally moving.
They did get sued.
They got destroyed in that lawsuit. Yep. So no, I'm not sure it was quite that simple. I think St. Louis was right on that list of PO'd fan bases.
And a lot of it, they always will say, well, they wouldn't give us a new arena. They wouldn't give us a new building.
You mean to tell me the Edward Jones Dome wasn't enough?
Did you watch any of the Edward Jones Dome?
I caught the tail end of the Edward Jones Dome.
I mean, I think it was L.A. was so attractive. The fact that you had the second biggest city of the country without a team makes sense. Every owner should have been trying to get there, except for the bigger market, New York.
Well, Mark Davis was trying to get there, and Kroenke beat him to it.
Yeah, Davis was there before, obviously.
Right, exactly.
Okay, 855-212-4227. Keep them coming. We're asking for the most unpopular sports moment of all time, and all these ones are great. Bogues, what's going on in the world outside of this?
So the free-falling Suns were down 23 late third quarter last night, down 19 entering the fourth, but they beat the Clippers.
KD dribbles between his legs, now goes to his left. He's double-teamed, swings to a wide-open Gillespie for three. He got it!
Are you kidding
Gillespie
me?
From downtown gives the Suns a 5-point lead. What can't the former Villanova Wildcat do here tonight?
That's Suns radio, and yes, that was the dagger 3 in the 119-117 Phoenix win. But Kevin Durant did the heavy lifting. He made 7 shots over the last 14 minutes of this game. All of the Clippers hit just 6. KD finishing with 34 in this much-needed victory. But it did not come without drama. TV cameras caught KD and head coach Mike Budenholzer in a semi-heated exchange as Durant returned to the bench for a timeout. The player says no big deal.
We competitive as two individuals who want to see things done the right way. And sometimes my way
ain't the way that Bud want to do it, and vice versa. And he allows me as a player on the team, a veteran on the team, to voice my opinion. If we both didn't care, we would never have stuff like that.
Where was this in December? And the season still had a prayer.
Yeah, but also this entire free fall has been about possibly them not liking Bud. So this doesn't look good.
No.
It might be just because they're competitors, or might just be Durant overflowing in that moment with frustration that's been building for weeks and months with the head coach.
Can I ask you a question? Who does Kevin Durant like playing for?
Come on, bro.
Well, he thought he liked Steve Nash, right?
Team USA.
Couldn't get along with Steve Kerr. That's well documented.
He's an idiot.
Got what's his face? Kenny Atkinson fired. Didn't even give him a shot.
Right.
Meanwhile, might go to the finals this year with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Nice.
Steve Nash, that was not good.
And that was their pick, right? Because he knew Nash from the Warriors. Like he wanted him in Brooklyn.
Yep.
That didn't work.
And remember, they said they didn't need a coach.
Right.
They could all coach.
Okay. No, they were going to coach off vibes.
Yeah.
Sure. And now it looks like Budenholzer is also a no. And who was there before Budenholzer? Vogel?
Vogel. They got rid of him, too.
Yep.
After one season.
Anyone else shocked Colin Gillespie's in the NBA? Remember that guy?
About those Nova boys.
Also that.
Yeah. That was his career high last night. I just looked it up. 10.
Oh, okay.
First game in double digits.
I'm not surprised, only because I remember that clip a couple years ago when he called DeAndre Jordan his dad when he was mic'd up.
No way.
It was so weird. It was like DeAndre Jordan's like, "Get out of here, rookie." He's like, "Sorry, Dad."
Oh, not like.
It's like why did they?
Not like a Pedro Martinez type
Easy
of thing,
sting.
or whatever.
Yeah, it was like, why did TNT air this mic'd up segment?
LeBron and Luka combined for 64 in the Lakers' 136-115 decision over the Pelicans. LA has its first 7-game win streak since 2021. The Cavaliers on an 11-game run after outscoring the Bulls 139-117 in Chicago. And the Rockets dropped their third straight 115-102 in Indiana. As discussed already this morning, the Jets releasing Davante Adams since no one wanted to trade for his $38 million cap hit. The Packers, the betting favorite for a reunion. In the meantime, Green Bay inking kicker Brandon McManus a 3-year deal with a $5 million signing bonus. A night of upsets in men's college hoops. Top-ranked Auburn going down at number 22 Texas A&M, 83-72. That's the Aggies' first ever win over number 1. 10th-ranked Iowa State lost at home in double OT, 88-85 to number 23 BYU. And Texas, an 87-82 OT win at number 25 Mississippi State. Roki Sasaki made his Dodgers spring training debut last night against the Reds. 3 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 Ks. Manager Dave Roberts on Spectrum Sportsnet LA.
Tonight was a big night. I just think that being under the lights in a big league ball game, just seeing how he responded, and the stuff was really good. Obviously got a lot of swing and miss, a fastball played up. So really good to see. So we got him 3 innings, and then he'll make 1 more start before we break camp.
The Dodgers have to break camp soon because they and the Cubs play 2 real games in Tokyo in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And from the NHL, Carolina winning in Detroit 2-1. You already know that. That's from last hour, so never mind. Guys, back to you.
Folks, thanks. Dynamite. We're asking you today, the great debate is, what's the most unpopular moment in the history of sports? I want to sneak in one more before the break, and that's JT in Atlanta. JT, what do you have for us?
Hey, thank you guys for taking my call. I think there's a couple. I mean, and I don't know if these necessarily qualify, but I really hated to see both of them happen. One was the Kermit Washington and Rudy Tomjanovich punch. And then the other one was Senior into the wall. Those are both of my those things where Rudy I never saw, but the one Senior is like you'll never forget where you were when that happened. And it's definitely unpopular.
JT, thank you. You know, we had not actually had like injuries yet. When we were talking about unpopular moments, you know, I did LeBron's decision. Perloff's talking about the Rams, the Saints getting hosed in the NFC Championship game. You know, Bogusch doing, you know, Hulk Hogan turning heel. We had not done injuries yet, or those the devastating punch of Rudy Tomjanovich getting punched by Kermit Washington.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the Senior is a different thing altogether.
Yeah, well, that's a death. Yeah,
that Elvis doesn't fit because it's so tragic. You know, I actually thought about a couple injuries. Joe Theismann's leg, and there's a Paul George injury, and who was the kid at Louisville?
Kevin Ware.
Yeah.
Kevin Ware. Kevin Ware, actually, I couldn't remember his name, jumped to my mind.
Yeah, different kind of thing. We're asking for most unpopular moments. I think that would be most unfortunate moments if I were splitting hairs.
Yeah. Worst moments.
Worst moments, most devastating to witness.
Yeah.
We're talking about unpopular here.
Yeah, because it's like off of John Cena again, who made a decision to be a bad guy.
Right.
Those guys obviously didn't decide to get hurt. Those are just sad, heartbreaking things that happened.
Exactly. 855-212-4227. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, we're all aware that some writer in Stamford, Connecticut came up with this whole thing, right? This was not an actual, whatever.
What's that?
John Cena turning bad guy.
Oh, wrestling is fake. Oh, we don't know.
I mean, I just think it's a little different. Yes. Wrestling is fake. It's just a little different.
Somebody didn't tell Travis Scott. Didn't, what's his face, like rupture his eardrum or something like that?
Allegedly, Travis Scott slapped Cody Rhodes so hard that he has a ruptured eardrum and a black eye.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
I'm
wait,
sure
okay.
that's real. No, listen, but
Guys,
it was unpopular.
they do take punishment, Maggie. Let's be clear.
No, I know
about
that. But these guys do take a lot of punishment. But I do think that it counts because the fans hated it. They didn't like it.
Yeah, but everyone's tuning in. Who doesn't want to see this John Cena heel turn? This could be awesome.
I mean, I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, all the wrestling fans
Yeah, and
are.
it's just in time for him to leave.
Do you see the kids, though? The video of the kids crying? That's my favorite part of this, is these parents.
Is kids crying?
These sad parents, these crazy parents who are like, I'm going to put my phone on my kid as he's watching John Cena beat the crap out of Cody Rhodes, and the kid's just wearing his C Nation shirt, his hustle, loyalty, respect, with the hat on, crying, watching John Cena be a bad guy.
Watching children cry is very entertaining.
Hey,
You guys are the worst.
the worst.
Well, I didn't do it. I'm saying some guy did it, but it is funny.
Has there ever been a wrestler who didn't turn heel at one point?
I don't think so. Pete
Bob-
would know, obviously.
Bob Backlund?
Oh, Backlund definitely was a heel.
Okay.
I mean, Cena originally was not originally, but he at one point was a heel before. This isn't like this has never happened. It's just he doesn't.
Oh.
It's 22 years of him being the same character, and he said he would never do
it.
this.
I think you're an idiot.
I now have a question, which is what's like the more unforgivable thing to put, or not unforgivable, but the bigger violation of someone's privacy? Is it posting your child crying on the internet, or with the people who film family members and friends when they're still hopped up on like laughing gas and stuff from the dentist?
That I hate. I'm always scared that's going to happen to me.
I mean, you're okay with people putting videos of their kids crying on the internet?
I'm okay with it. It's fine. You're a kid. Everyone knows kids cry. It's not a surprising thing. It's just it's funny.
There's a lot of these laughing gas videos. I've never seen one of those.
Oh, you never?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, they're great. People have no idea what they're saying. They're so looped
Are
up.
they on something heavier than laughing gas or just laughing gas? Because
It's just they're coming out of something. It might not even be the gas. I think it's just
Coming out of surgery?
Yeah, being put out.
yeah.
Yeah, and they're
Like
all
when I had my surgery, I was very worried Andrea was going to record me doing something. She did.
Yeah. Okay, I could be. That does sound fun.
Weren't you petrified that you would admit something you didn't want to admit?
Right. That's my thing.
Oh, all of a sudden she'd start giving you the Inquisition when you're
Right.
when you just literally had truth serum.
Right.
Start talking about Merkel's boner right out of it. It's a historical play, people. Grow up. Grow up.
855-212-4227. Thank you, Bogusch. We're asking you, what's the most unpopular moment in the history of sports?
You're in a 5-minute break.
This is Daly. I'm out here. And Cap, I think you're great.
Yo, Daly in the chat saying Captain's got a plan, but let me set the record straight. Ain't no wires in my hat. Zach, yeah, black and Ryan's going static. Shep and Wolf's frozen, it's cinematic. But Maggie and Perloff, this dream be magic. Clear as the day, got a feeling ecstatic. They're not the villain, but just the goat. Infinity Sports running my notes. Daily you tripping, I'm pressing these buttons. Ain't my fault that Bilotti ain't rushing. Kaplan ain't crashing, Kaplan ain't stopping. My stream's so smooth, man, they never be dropping. Bilotti still ghosting, snakes ain't arrived. Dudes at home, while I keep it live. Sabotage, man, that's just a joke. I make it run clean, while your Wi-Fi's broke. Saying Cap was got a plan, dance in my head. Sack jump lucky, Ryan's go static. Shipping most frozen, they cinematic. But Maggie Perloff, the stream beam magic. Clear as a day, got a feeling ecstatic. Not the villain, or just to go. Infinity Sports, running in my notes. Daily you tripping, I'm pressing these buttons. Ain't my fault that bloody ain't rushing. Happening, crashing, happening, stopping. My stream so smooth, man, they never be dropping. Bloody still ghosting, snakes ain't arrived. Dudes at home, while I keep it live. Sabotage, man, that's just a joke. I make it run clean while your Wi-Fi's broke.
This is Daily. I'm out here. And Cap, I think you're great.
Bobby Buck returns and every night from
Bailey's watching, throwing blame, saying I'm playing some digital games. Child is glitching, Ryan's lost, Shepard Wolf stuck like he's been paused. But Maggie Perloff, smooth as glass, the pixels shine, the stream so fast. Is it magic or is it fate? Or maybe Bloody just showed up late.
I'm sorry.
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining.
I'm sorry. I got a little out of
One minute remaining.
Daly's talking, running his mouth, saying I'm the reason that the streams go south. Job is crashing, Ryan's gone dark, shipping more stock like an old drunk car. I got my boots up, my hands on the board, pushing them buttons like a digital lord. Maggie and Perloff, they shine like gold, while the others freeze like a blizzard so cold.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This is Daily. I'm out here. And Cap, I think you're great.
I appreciate that Manny has discovered the 80s when it comes to music. Are you listening to these songs for the first time?
No, I grew up listening to a 60s, 70s, and 80s radio station, but I mean, I've recently stumbled upon a playlist on Apple Music.
It's pretty good. 855-212-4227. All right, Maggie Perloff Show. What we're asking you today is our great debate, which is, what's the most unpopular moment in the history of sports? Two things happened recently that are the motivation behind this. One, Luka Doncic getting traded. Wildly unpopular, I guess, unless you're a Laker fan. And also Saturday night in the WWE, Perloff, I know you were locked in, John Cena turned heel after a 20-year wrestling career of being the good guy. He turns to the bad guy. So we are asking you the most unpopular sports moment. Want to go to Sean in Oregon, who's got a good one. What's up, Sean?
Hey, good morning, you guys. I was just thinking about this, and it was a real popular guy, and then he almost like turned heel in this moment when Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear. And everyone got really upset with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Sean, it's fantastic one. Now, I would argue that Mike Tyson turned heel when he went to prison for rape. That's when I think Mike Tyson actually turned heel. But as far as sports is concerned, this is it. And Sean, thank you for the call and bringing this up.
Legacy doesn't mean nothing.
Because here's the thing. It was like a cop-out. And I think that's, Perloff, what got people, once you got out of the, just shock value of it, it was, Tyson wasn't ready for the fight. He wasn't preparing for the fight. He was looking for a way out. He bit Holyfield's ear, and it was like, that's a loser move for someone who had been so associated with being a dominant winner.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was unpopular, because I also think a lot of people thought, oh, my God, that's awesome. He just bit the dude's ear off. It's like one of the most, it's infamous.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just a slight bit different. Like, I don't know. I remember that being kind of awesome, right? Like, don't we all remember that as a highlight?
I don't know if awesome is the word I would use. Shocking. Shocking.
Yeah, but it wasn't, I don't remember people being mad at Tyson. It was like, oh my God, he's getting his butt kicked and he just bit the guy's ear. I remember it being also hysterically funny.
This is what it sounded like.
Oh, and some nasty stuff in there. There looked to be a bite almost. Holyfield is very unhappy. Look at this. It looked as if Tyson bared his teeth at one stage in the exchange.
Yes,
bit
I
his
think
ear.
He bit his ear. That's what Holyfield was in a lot of pain from that.
I mean, what was the date on that? I feel like it was June of 90. I don't have the date on that. June of 97?
I would have guessed 95 or 94, but I have no idea.
June of 97, but I don't remember.
Is that the same game where the guy came down with the jetpack? Or
No, that was Fan Man. That was a different fight.
Okay.
Yeah. That was Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. I believe, I'm doing this off the top of my head, Fan Man, believe was Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, because it was outside. The Tyson-Holyfield fight, I believe, was indoors.
The bite fight was on June 28th, 1997.
Boom. And what about Fan Man? Do we have that? You guys can look that one up. Well, I go to Jeff in Tucson. Jeff, the most unpopular sports moment of all time was what?
LeBron James going to Miami is the first thing I could think of.
Yep.
And the other thing I wanted to tell you, Maggie, is you guys were talking about things that you shouldn't put on the internet. I'm a big Ohio State rooter and, graduate, so I'll tell you this short story. Christmas, my son-in-law begs me not to buy tickets for the Clemson-Ohio State semifinal game here in Phoenix. So I go through Christmas packages. I get the kids. We all go to my house. I got this big box. And at the bottom of the box were 2 tickets, front row seats of the end zone. And I started crying. That's how happy I was. My daughter was filming it, put it on Facebook, and it went viral. So here I am, a 60-year-old man just crying happy tears. And my daughter, and somebody else comes to me later that knew me, and he goes, hey, I saw you crying on the internet. I'm like, what? Yeah, I didn't know my daughter had put me on the internet.
Wow.
I had 700,000 hits.
Oh, my goodness. Jeff, you're a star.
Yeah, I was a star for, one day, whatever. But, yeah. But the LeBron James thing, and last thing I'm going to say, Maggie, the Cavs are real. Look who they've been sitting. We sat one of our guys last night. We sat Donovan the night before, and the guys are only playing 20, 25 minutes, all these 9 or 10 guys, so we're going to be ready for those finals.
Jeff, I need your teams.
Jeff's an Ohio guy all the time. He talks about the Browns, Ohio State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't go outside of Ohio for any of your teams?
Not really. My wife wanted me to become a Diamondback fan because she's a Diamondback, and she's an NAU grad. So I just can't, switch over like that. I'm a Guardians fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, stick with your team.
I go way back. We had a hockey team once called the Crusaders. So that's how far I go back. We never could get an NHL team in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I just boggled my mind. But I appreciate you guys taking my call.
Jeff, thank you.
You guys have a great day.
You too, pal, and stay safe on the road. I believe Jeff told us once he's a long-haul trucker. We got to find the video of Jeff crying on the internet now. 700,000 views.
Jeff in Tucson. Let's do it.
That's pretty good. We're asking you again, the most unpopular sports moment of all time. Got Fan Man? No?
93, I believe that happened.
What was the fight?
Holyfield against Riddick Bowe.
Oh, Riddick. Oh, that's what it was. All right, my bad. Get some more of it next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
So much NFL news going on right now. We're going to get you up to date on all the latest. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Quarterbacks, Pearl, and teams that need them. That's really at the top of the list now because free agency is about to get going. And we had Sam Darnold, who was basically let go, cut free, if you will, by the Minnesota Vikings. They're not going to franchise tag him, so he's going to be out there on the open market.
Right, although he might come back to the Vikings.
Possible, but no strings attached. You do have Aaron Rodgers out there with no strings attached. We're not sure exactly who Pittsburgh is going to say goodbye to, but all reports are leaning that they're going to keep Justin Fields, so Russell Wilson is going to be out there. Kirk Cousins is currently a backup quarterback right now in Atlanta, so maybe he's out there. But for a team like the Las Vegas Raiders, it's just a massive decision because as Shedeur Sanders' draft stock seems to be falling, I think it's no longer the slam dunk, oh, he'll just go play with Tom Brady and Pete Carroll, because there are not a lot of people who are confident that Shedeur is a top 10 pick right now.
No, but I'm starting to wonder if the whole thing is a bit deceiving, confusing, in the sense that I have a theory. And I think it's been floated on the show that Shedeur is mailing in his interviews because he either knows where he wants to go or he wants to go a certain place. So if he came off as disinterested in an interview, it's because he's literally not interested. And I think that maybe some of this Shedeur fall is media hype, and because these teams need quarterbacks
or it's
so
calculated.
Badly. Right.
By the Sanders family.
Right. Oh, yeah, and there's a lot of mock drafters who have them falling to the 20s or below. But I think part of the problem is these teams need quarterbacks so badly. The situation is laid out that I think they're going to really stretch to take someone.
I want to get you to some sound here from our pal Diana Rossini, who has her great podcast with Chase Daniel called Scoop City. And Diana's been super plugged in with this whole Matthew Stafford situation before he went back to the Rams. So here was Diana yesterday talking about how the Raiders were so devastated to not get Stafford.
You talk to people at the Raiders, and they were crushed that they did not get Matthew Stafford, which tells me that they really thought that they had a shot.
Crushed. Emphasis on crushed. That they really thought they were getting him. Here's more from Diana.
You talk to the Giants, they were a little cooler about it. They weren't as emotionally scarred by the fact that Matthew Stafford wasn't going to be there. They sort of had that mindset, all right, on to the next. But I do believe that both teams thought they had a good chance.
Emotionally scarred. Crushed. Emotionally scarred. It was a fling.
Crushed.
It was a ski slope fling. That was always going to be a bit of a long shot, Pearl, because you would have had to come up with, trade compensation for Stafford that the Rams would have, had to agree to, plus the money. It was fun to talk about, but hearing the fact that the Raiders are crushed and emotionally scarred by not getting Stafford, where do you think their next move is after this?
Yeah, I mean, it seems simple. Take Shedeur Sanders at number 6, and then you can change the narrative immediately. You have a quarterback of the future. To me, Shedeur Sanders is a bit of a system quarterback, but they have Chip Kelly, who's got a strong-minded offensive coach, and Pete Carroll. Feels like they can make this work. If they're really crushed by Matthew Stafford not being there, then what better way than to go the opposite direction and go young and bring him in? And then it makes it seem like you knew what you were doing all along.
Yeah, like, no. We always wanted Shedeur. Well, I'm not sure about that because, a couple things with the Raiders. Remember before Pete Carroll got hired, there was a report that Brady may have been interested in teaming back up with Belichick. And Belichick took the North Carolina job, so it took him out of the running. But when Belichick may not have been a thing, they didn't pivot and go to a 36-year-old head coach. They
tried, right? They offered Ben
Johnson, but okay, he's the one guy. Yeah. But then they ultimately hired Pete Carroll. There were other younger guys they could have gone with, but they went with the more experienced guy. They were crushed, emphasis, that they couldn't get Matthew Stafford, and I'm wondering if this means we want a veteran. And Max Crosby came out yesterday and said, how about, Aaron Rodgers seems nice to me. I wonder if it does tip their hand. Like, if you're so crushed you didn't get Matthew Stafford, you go, okay, well, we'll pivot to the next, older guy who we think could be successful.
Wow, that logic makes sense. They're not being linked by the insiders to the Raiders very much. And I don't know why.
Who, Rodgers?
Rodgers, yeah. Everyone says it's the Giants are bust for Rodgers. You know what? It makes sense. I can't think of a downside. If you're going to go with Stafford, why not go with Rodgers? Less long-term investment, less risk. You kind of have a 1-year solution there. I think maybe Stafford, you could argue that's 2 or 3 years. It gives you a little more runway. But Rodgers is similar. I mean, they don't win with Rodgers immediately. They probably don't win with Stafford immediately either. The whole thing is a little bit messed up. Why they wanted to give $100 million for 2 years to Stafford with a 73-year-old coach? Because they would have ended up with nobody in 2 years. I guess if that's the thinking and they stick with it, Rodgers does make perfect sense.
Because I'm thinking about Chip Kelly, right? We're talking about what kind of offenses does he run, and a lot of times he'll more running quarterbacks or whatever, how he coached at Oregon and things like that. But if you were willing to have Matthew Stafford's not running. Matthew Stafford is more of a classic pocket passer. Same with Aaron Rodgers at this point. Rodgers is not escaping like he used to, not post Achilles tear.
How about you do Rodgers and Shedeur?
Well, I don't hate that either.
Or Dart, or one of the.
Yeah, sure.
How about a second round? Yeah,
the only thing is 6'2" Rich now for Shedeur. Like, I'm starting to buy a little bit, and maybe this will burn me. I'm starting to buy in a little bit to the Shedeur Sanders falling and all these mocks. I mean,
me too.
Chris Trapasso joined us yesterday, draftnik for CBS Sports, and said his comp was David Garrard. No, I'm sorry, that was Cam Ward. The comp for Shedeur was a cross between Teddy Bridgewater and Geno Smith.
Yeah, which, by the way, I was pretty psyched about. I'm like, ooh.
But those guys aren't generational talents here,
I don't know.
top 6 picks.
Teddy Bridgewater was pretty darn good before he got hurt. But that's beside, I know what you're saying. I do think the top of the second round is still an option. Trading back in the first round is also an option. I think Aaron Rodgers and a young guy, say you get, let's say, Quinn Ewers at the top of the second round. That's a nice little combo. I could buy that. I'd feel better about that.
Will Howard, who was with Chip Kelly last year at Ohio State.
Oh, in like the 5th round or 6th round? That he feels like more of a backup to me. I think I would take guys with higher upside. And besides, Chip Kelly didn't even trust Will Howard last year. Why would he trust him now?
Fair. 855-212-4227. So anyway, Raiders absolutely crushed. Are you surprised by that they really thought they were going to get Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of reporting. That being said, I'm not sure who is Diana talking to. Was this Tom Brady?
Crushed.
Was this somebody who's 4th in the front office who's just a big Matthew Stafford fan and thought
someone just waving the pom-pom? No, I think Diana's very well sourced. She's got the inside, I think, not only from the Raiders part of this, but I think from the Rams part too.
But did anyone really think that was going to happen?
Well, I think the Raiders did.
Well, I think we all knew. I said it on the Friday right before we left. Obviously, Stafford is using this as leverage. I mean, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out exactly what's going on. Did anyone, I know we made 2 weeks of content out of it, but did anyone think Matthew Stafford wasn't going to be a Ram?
Yeah, I thought there was a possibility. I did, because there's this idea maybe that Sean McVay thinks that he can win with anybody, or, that they really have this bigger team building thing in mind. Now, let's keep this at the top of the dome. We still don't know the money.
Yeah, I totally disagree with that, because to have a team that's on the brink of a Super Bowl and to gut your quarterback room makes zero sense. And to be a 3-14 team and to sign a 2-year, $100 million deal makes even less sense. It's never happened. It never will happen. It would have been crazy. That's the thing about the Raiders and the Giants. It would have been insane.
Yeah, I saw it a little bit more than you did, as far as just a return to respectability. People on the Giants side trying to keep their jobs, not loving the quarterbacks in this draft, trying to take a big swing. I understood it more than you did, but yeah, I understand. 855-212-4227. I understand where you're coming from. On Wednesdays, we do something called The Great Debate. And today, we're taking some things loosely based on the news. The Mavericks trading Luka Doncic away from Dallas. Wildly unpopular, except for LA. And on Saturday night, John Cena turned heel from the WWE. Very unpopular. So we're asking you, what is the most unpopular moment in the history of sports? And I'll just go around the horn quickly. We did this last hour. We do it at 8 a.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. Quickly, I'll go around the horn of what we all did. I said LeBron James's decision. EJ said the Indianapolis Colts leaving Baltimore in the middle of the night to go to Cleveland. You could have also done Cleveland going going to Indianapolis. You could have also done Cleveland, leaving in the middle of the night to go to Baltimore. We've had a couple of these. Manny went with Jim Joyce, the now infamous umpire, stealing a perfect game from Armando Galarraga. Andrew Bogusch decided to go with the original superstar wrestler turning heel with Hulk Hogan when he did that and shocked everybody. And Perloff went with the Saints in the NFC Championship game, getting hosed on a no call, costing them a trip to the Super Bowl.
But his heart wanted Merkel's boner.
That sounds weird, but yes.
No, I think that's right on the nose.
Yeah, I had this list that Merkel's boner was on, which is a famous play from 1908, where this guy missed second base. It won the pennant. Everybody stormed the field, and the guy on the other team touched second base, and the game was over. Which reminded me, body part anyone wanted to see. Has that ever happened where, I think it has, where fans have rushed the crowd and ended up losing the game? I think that's happened a couple times. I do remember LSU Kentucky when they poured the Gatorade and the team lost anyway.
I love that clip. One of my favorites.
That's funny. If the fans stormed the field, they lost anyway. I thought you were asking if someone missed a base.
That's what I thought too.
Because that's also happened.
Even though the Mets still won that game.
Yep.
This list was the worst moments in sports, which is kind of what we're talking about here. Yeah. They had a lot of good ones. They had almost everyone we mentioned, and Jim Marshall running the wrong way for a touchdown with the Vikings.
Oh, but that's an amazing
best blooper ever.
It's incredible. We're talking for the most unpopular moments in sports. Let's go to our pal George, who's in L.A. George, what do you think? Most unpopular moment was what?
Let me go back to 1995 when the Georgia Frontieri, the witch of L.A. Rams, moved the Rams from L.A. to St. Louis. The Rams had been in Los Angeles for 50 years. They were very popular. And, of course, the Raiders. She was extremely controversial. She ran the Rams to the ground. It was a very difficult situation in St. Louis because they basically gave her everything to go there. But Chip Rosenblum was the son-in-law, and he signed a contract that said 20 years later, if they're not NFL ready, the Edward Jones Dome, the Rams could return. That's exactly what happened. So it wasn't like they stood St. Louis. The Rams just went back home.
Yeah. You know, George, we have so many of these, unfortunately, and thank you for the phone call, of franchises moving cities and all of that stuff. The most devastating one, I mean, that's going to be like beauty in the eye of the beholder. We still don't have the NBA in Seattle, although I think everybody would love it. Vancouver still doesn't have an NBA team after they left. Obviously, St. Louis doesn't have a football team anymore. Now, Baltimore, Cleveland, and Indy all do have NFL teams.
Now, when are they ever going to get in New York a real NFL team, too, is a question.
Oh, boy.
Whatever.
You're
setting me up. I was trying to think of something.
Doug is in Pennsylvania. Doug, the most unpopular moment in the history of sports was what?
Well, for me, it would be Lance Armstrong in the Tour de Force, winning all those and then lying about cheating, taking illegal drugs, because he's representing, the United States in that global competition. So that would be my vote there.
Yeah, that's interesting. We didn't have any, liars in this one, right? Like the people like Lance Armstrong, Pearl, who I think the toughest part about Lance is not just that he was cheating when he won, 7 Tour de France's? Doug, thank you for the call. But that he took out all this vengeance on people who dared say that he was doping, even though he knew he was. And the whole Live Strong thing, which was giving so much hope to people who are recovering from cancer. So in a way, such an admirable thing that he did, but it felt like it was based on a lie.
Yeah.
Right. But do you think of that as an unpopular moment? He became an unpopular person.
Oh, he's kind of sports. We could do a separate debate. Who's sports evil? And he's on that list.
Yeah, fall from grace, stuff like that.
I mean, who's the biggest liar? Is that the biggest liar? I mean, I think of Barry Bonds.
We've had some pretty big lies.
A lot of
Rafael Palmeiro.
A lot of steroid liars.
Marion Jones was a liar. I mean, Ryan Braun.
Are there any non-steroid liars?
Tiger Woods.
Lied to his wife?
Just, I'm a family man.
Yeah.
He was not a family man. He was not a family man. That's clear.
What makes you say that?
Someone's family.
I mean, if we're getting into athletes cheating, I don't know.
Yeah,
kind of hard to stand out. I mean, Tiger, you're right, did sort of stand out in that.
We only have a 4-hour show, guys. Andrew's in Missouri. Andrew, the most unpopular moment in the history of sports was what?
I say Steve Bartman catching the ball at the Cubs game. Most famous one I can remember.
You know, it was an all-time debacle, right, Andrew? We all remember where we were, and Steve Bartman with the turtleneck, thank you for the call, with the headphones on, the old school transistor radio, but the Walkman headphones, and he's got the hat on, the glasses. He looks like he's already in witness protection. Meanwhile, he would basically have to go in witness protection, bro. I don't know if I think of that as unpopular. I think that is
unpopular in Chicago.
Well, yeah.
I saw him.
It's a little more like one of your Merkel boners.
Jeffrey Mayer interfering with the home run. That's
clean.
unpopular because a lot of people thought the Yankees got an edge in that one.
That was clean.
I think in the Cubs, people just felt bad for the Cubs.
And we never know what happened to Steve Bartman after.
Someone did a doc about him.
That is 30 for 30.
Yeah.
They found him.
Did they go?
There's no video footage of them finding him, but they did find him allegedly.
I mean, how does your heart not go out to him a little bit, right? Does anyone see him as a sympathetic figure? He's getting death threats and.
Yeah, definitely. It went too far, obviously.
And now the Cubs have won the World Series, so the curse is broken.
I think the hope was that once they won, that he would come out and they could kind of embrace him, and that didn't happen because he's led a life of anonymity, which I would understand given what he went through.
Yeah, it's like Bill Buckner is now making fun of what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Like, obviously.
Oh, sorry. Bill Buckner passed. Sorry. But I just recently watched the episode where he was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he made peace with it. Jackie Smith obviously made peace with his drop in the end zone. So, but yeah, I'm not mad. We're talking about missed calls and biting ears and things. I'm not mad at Steve. No one's mad at Steve Bartman. I think people feel bad for him.
Yeah, it probably went from anger in the moment to then a little bit of pity because the avalanche of criticism, and he was a true fan.
I think initially,
crushed.
I was mad, and I'm not a Cubs fan, and I know I'm a Mets fan, so maybe, but I didn't have any hatred for the Marlins. I think it felt like we were going to watch history. They were going to win the World Series. We were going to break this curse. I think for the sports fan, there was anger because it was like, come on, bro.
You got it 13 years later.
I know, but in the moment, it was definitely. That's why people were upset.
People are way more mad at the Astros.
Definitely.
Very unpopular.
That's mad.
Maybe that one should have been on our list. Unpopular moment is when we found out that they were banging trash cans.
That is talking about cheating scandals. That one was.
Yeah, people were ticked off about that. Still are.
I still am, yes.
I know, Manny's not over it.
Damn right
I feel like if that didn't happen to the Yankees, I feel like that would be even worse now. Like, we would still be those guys, all those players. I think, but... And I say this is with a Yankee anti-bias here. I feel like there was enough sympathy for the Yankees.
Was not enough sympathy.
Right. I think because it was the Yankees, I think we kind of moved on a little quicker.
And for the Dodgers, too, who they beat in the World Series.
Right. The Dodgers are the same
thing. Had this happened to, the Royals, you're saying, maybe?
I totally feel that way. I feel like if it was the Cubs going for the World Series that they not won yet, I think we would never forgive the Astros.
Sure,
I think a lot of those guys would be...
Yeah, the Yankees are also the evil empire. Exactly. The Dodgers spend more money than God. These are not lovable losers who got hosed by the Astros. Yeah, exactly. I see that.
In many ways, the Astros were kind of seen as even though they were a lot better than that Yankee team that year, they were kind of seen as this upstart organization that tanked for years and now they're really good.
No, they always said they were smarter than everybody.
They did.
Well, how'd that go? I mean, they got some hardware out of it, but also tarnished.
Pretty good.
855-212-4227. Yeah. That's what the commissioner called it, a hunk of metal, the World Series trophy. Because people said you should take it away from him. He goes, what does it matter? It's just a hunk of metal.
Piece of metal.
Yeah, go get him, Rob. 855-212-4227, the most unpopular sports moment of all time. Plus, guys, I got an update for you. This one's exciting. And we're all going to get to guess who's going to be headlining this very big event. I'll tell you about it next. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Great debate Wednesday. Most unpopular or disliked moment in sports history. We have a wide range of choices. Of course, I did not have the guts to pick the ultimate one. Merkel's boner, 1908. Cubs Cardinals.
Still talking about it all these years later.
Feels like yesterday. We have some bad calls on here. We have teams moving. We have infamous sports moments like biting Mike Tyson, biting Evander Holyfield's ear. You know, it's funny. I was thinking about pro wrestling because this all started with John Cena's heel turn. Am I the only one here who likes the bad guy in wrestling? Like, I feel like it's not unpopular to go bad guy. When I was a kid, Roddy Piper was the most popular wrestler, and he was a bad guy. Like, everybody likes the bad guy, right?
Yeah,
in wrestling.
This was like, it's so stunning with Cena because he had just not only built the persona inside the ring as a good guy, but outside the ring with all the Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff. Like, it was, he really didn't want you to see a difference between the character and himself.
Yeah, but so
Roddy Piper, he wasn't walking around like beating people's faces in.
Right, but I mean, it's obviously The Rock would turn bad guy, and nobody thinks The Rock is in Mr. Charity. Like, I think that it's just, to me, like, I'm more interested in John Cena now that he's a bad guy. I kind of like this, and I'm more likely to root for. Am I the only one that roots for the bad guy in wrestling? Of course you do, right?
Well, but by the way, The Rock will come out afterwards and say, guys, it's just a character. Haven't you noticed that since he turned heel? He did this on the Netflix show. He's done this a couple times. Am I right about this, EJ?
Yeah, I mean, well, in the press conference after the show, he was like, "Oh yeah, this is a great story."
Yeah, I mean,
he
adult
wants to
fans
even make
know
sure.
the deal.
I know, but they're not talking to just adults, all right? They're talking to kids too.
Yeah, I mean,
and their images. I don't know.
Also,
anyway,
John Cena has done some very interesting films lately. Have you guys noticed that too?
I haven't seen anything he's been in a long time.
Oh my God. The one, what was especially the superhero thing he did?
Yeah, what was that?
Oh, Peacemaker was awesome.
Yeah, that was very, very adult, very blue. And then he did this movie where he was this made up, he was a male stripper who was pretend friends with guys. It was a big Amazon movie. Did you see that?
No.
He was hysterical. He does very, very R-rated movies. So if he's playing good guy out there, trust me, he's got another persona.
Well, I know he said that he thought he was being hazed when he had to go on to the Oscars naked.
That was a memorable moment.
Yeah.
Not so much unpopular.
Not sure. Some demographics sure
from
love
one
that.
corner of the room.
Yeah.
It was called Ricky Sinicki. Did anybody see this on Amazon?
Yes, I didn't watch it, but I heard of it.
He was very, very funny. He's a good actor.
He urinated on himself in an airport, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
That got dumped.
Can't say that? Terrestrial radio?
Can't. The word, the Pete, the Pete handbook is you can't talk about an act on something.
That is true.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. You can be pissed off, but you can't be. You can't be
Peed
on.
Yeah. I didn't say it. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love walking right up to the line.
That's not the line. You could absolutely say that 100%.
Yes, you could.
Pete's line.
Yeah. I don't know why you guys thought Pete was like the head of the FCC for all those years.
He told us he was.
Moonlights as.
I mean, he was in charge of the button, so he was like it was his rules, and he would not have liked the Merkel's boner segment.
I am not a compulsive gambler.
Has he watched the Pat McAfee show?
Is this the Pat McAfee show?
This is not Pat McAfee.
Again, I mean, listen. Yeah, there are a lot of radio shows
that
that
go
way further than
We'll
us.
sit back, you say or spell whatever words you want. We'll see what happens.
Exclamation point.
I was going to say, Pete did save my rear end because I did not know that you couldn't spell slang terms for women's anatomy. And Kick Saving a Beauty by Pete because it turns out you can't.
Turns out you can. I've been here for 4 years, and I've honestly not heard one peep of anything crossing the line except from one person in the building.
Ryan Hickey.
No.
Well, Hickey
No,
definitely.
I'm saying one person has said something. Bilotti. That's the only person, nobody from management or any affiliate has ever brought up anything.
What did
Just
Hickey
the guy
say?
who sits right there.
Forget the bugs.
Oh, we got that Hickey cut, right?
All right, you
Definitely
guys
have used
think
that.
about that.
Yeah, well, he was talking about Russell Westbrook, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this effing guy." Just totally didn't
he
think.
slipped.
Yeah,
Well, that's obvious.
That's different.
But I've heard some theories on Pete what's crossing the line that are just ridiculous, and you guys are all like, "Yeah, that's gospel."
Well,
I just laugh because I listen to radio. 10 times worse things happen all the time, every day.
Yes, but so a couple of things. In Pete's defense, a lot of the things that Pete went by were things he was told by previous management.
Yeah.
True.
How is that defense? I know the previous management.
No, you don't know the original management.
Yeah, but why
on
would
day
you
one.
listen to those people?
Because they're the boss.
They were the bosses at one point, yeah.
And
they told us what they wanted on their
right, but you
airwaves.
realize that was their personal choice.
Right. Yes, I know.
But Pete states it like it's some federal law out there about what you're allowed to say and not say. Just be some random dude set a guideline.
So, but here's the thing. We have to watch this video about what you can say and what you can't say on the air. This is how I know you can't spell the word that I spelled. This is also, I know you can't curse in Espanol. You can't curse in any other language, also against the rules. That's actually a video we were mandated to watch.
What?
You didn't watch the video, the company video about what you can say, what you can't say on the air?
No, is that part of our video? I actually have never seen that one.
Yeah.
I also feel like just in our conversations with new bosses that like we're also in a more conservative lane.
Yes, our rules are different than WFAN's rules because they're on only around here. We have multiple different stations and communities that we have to
like there were
address.
things that he said we should not be doing, or that he said he preferred.
Well, listen, New York is a soulless cesspool. Obviously, we all know that.
Yeah.
Basically, say anything you want.
And I think we need to push the boundary more.
Go ahead.
All right.
Merkel's boner.
I feel like
one for the little guy.
There's so many times where we do, and then Pearl's just like, we should go to break. This is getting a little.
That
is a lot.
You're right.
That was racy, guys.
This is not a discussion about what you can and cannot say. It is a discussion how you guys blindly assume that Pipilotti is making real rules. Like these are like federally mandated rules.
How about
like
a guy who can fill 2 different holes?
Yeah. I just think that you guys are like, well, Pete said that it's not allowed. It's not allowed. What?
Well, it's not allowed to the effect that Pete's going to dump it. And some of the things are not allowed. And also the caveat is you can only get in trouble for saying any of those words if somebody reports you. Like there's no 24/7 monitoring service where alarms are going off if you curse. So you can theoretically, you can say whatever you wanted right now and get lucky that no one files a complaint with here or the FCC.
Curve to the left. Have you ever been fined?
No.
But that's because Bogusch is a pro.
Has anyone you know ever been fined?
No, because most people know where they can and can't go.
Guys got a set on them.
CBS was definitely fined for the Janet Jackson thing.
That's true.
They definitely.
I bet they got a couple calls on that one, though, because I'm assuming maybe 100 million people are watching that one. Our audience, I think we're at 90 million. Speaking of a big audience, actually, this is a great segue. I don't even think you meant to do it. But I want to go around the room because I saw a bit of news just dropped. And Bogusch, I hope I'm not stepping on your update here. Turns out 2026 FIFA World Cup, the most watched sporting event in the world, is going to be happening here in North America. We'll now have a halftime show for the final. So MetLife Stadium, they're going to have a halftime show. First time ever in the history of the World Cup. So let's call it now, around the horn. Who do you think gets booked to be the halftime show? Because I already got mine.
I go Shakira.
I was going to say Pitbull.
Feels like Shakira does all the soccer stuff.
Yeah, she definitely did the Colombia, America thing. That was a disaster. Not her. It was the game was a disaster.
I will go with. It's funny because the Caribbean doesn't really play soccer, but I'll go with Bad Bunny.
I thought about him too. Perloff, Bogusch, you guys want to go different?
Shakira.
Coldplay,
I doubled down
something
on
like
Shakira.
that. Could there be another big band, European band? U2 reunion?
The Beatles, maybe.
That'd be gruesome.
Holograms of 3 of them.
I guess the question I would have is: do you feel like it has to be a North American act because it's in North America?
I don't think so.
No, it's definitely going to be a global.
I think. Like, I don't think they could do Kendrick Lamar. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think that. But I was thinking like, is Jennifer Lopez on the table? We mentioned Bad Bunny.
I think Bad Bunny and Pitbull are in the area of people that check off all of the boxes.
What about something like, do you go, what's that boy band, BTS or something?
The South Korean, or the K-pop group? Yeah, BTS. Yeah, I mean, they could go K-pop as well.
Something like that?
Wait, I don't understand. Why would they go K-pop for the North American?
Just international.
Just something more global.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they'd go more somebody from this hemisphere.
I don't think Taylor Swift fits.
No.
I mean, could you do like a Beyonce, Jay-Z?
Who did the last World Cup?
No, are you serious? This is the first time they're ever doing it.
Oh.
No, I really thought they
That's
did it
the
before,
news.
too.
Well,
Really?
did Shakira but she did that big
ESPN.
World Cup concert, remember?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Shakira did the
that was
Copa
like
America.
such a thing.
Yeah.
They said the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup final in the U.S. will break with tradition and have a Super Bowl-style halftime show, according to Gianni Infantino.
Usually, really? That was Gianni who said that? Usually the performances that happen before the World Cup final happen before the game. It's never halftime. And it never
Got it. So that's
that
makes
pregame.
Now,
But
didn't Shakira have her heart broken by a soccer player?
Yes, that was Gerard Piqué.
And she performed after that happened, or could she be anti-soccer at the moment?
You got to show him what he's missing.
wow, talk about time has flied. So her World Cup song was 2010.
Yeah, Waka Waka.
Yeah,
for
I
South
can't
Africa.
believe that.
Wasamia,
That was already that long ago. Yeah,
a lot happened
Well,
in
she
2010.
also did the Super Bowl not that long ago.
Yeah, but she created a song for the World Cup.
Yeah,
that's why I
right.
always think
It was the
yeah, they got to
2010
bring her
anthem.
back.
All right.
By the way, remember the Colombian head coach criticized Shakira for her halftime show going too long and them losing. So is she also spurned by like
The international soccer.
Wait,
community.
I have a question. You said J-Lo. Is she still touring? J-Lo?
I think she is actually.
Is she still doing music? I have not seen. I've heard much about that in a while.
I feel like she would get
That'd
out
be
of bed.
good.
I feel like she had to get out of bed for this.
How about Beyonce?
Get the band back together for this one.
Oh, how about Beyonce?
Beyonce is always an option for this. One of the greatest, if not the greatest.
I mean, she
current
did the
performer.
Thanksgiving game.
Right, and that was a
Thanksgiving
spectacle.
game, World Cup final, same.
She did. It was better than the halftime show.
It was the best thing that happened that
There was
day.
more production.
Besides the fact that they handed out a trophy and then it turned out it was a cake.
Yeah, well, that's always fun.
Well, Beyonce did Christmas, not Thanksgiving.
Oh, right.
Oh,
She had
was that Christmas?
I'm pretty sure it's Christmas.
Yeah, that's what the was
Because
a
it
cake.
was like it was the NBA versus Beyonce, not the NFL.
Yeah, it was the
Game
Netflix
sucked.
game. Yeah.
Netflix game.
I remember how massive the production was.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
gigantic.
That's
Yeah,
what
she'd
she
be
does.
good. I'll vote Beyonce versus the field. Who did you have?
I had Pitbull.
Pitbull. Okay.
All right, guys, get ready. Halftime show coming your way.
What's the stakes here? If we win?
2-year bet. That's a long time. I like it though.
For halftime?
Well,
Circle
they
on
could
that.
announce
Next
it
year.
earlier, I guess, in theory.
What was that? Shaving an eyebrow? Bogusch has headlines.
A reported NFL trade this morning. The Chiefs reportedly sending Pro Bowl guard Joe Thuney to the Bears, who acquired interior O-lineman Jonah Jackson from the Rams just yesterday. This deal, I guess, keeps KC away from giving Thuney a third big contract. It's similar to what they did with Tyreek Hill, parting ways with him a few years ago. Meanwhile,
They're
Chicago.
trying to take away offensive linemen after what we just saw in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Are they going to sign like Ronnie Stanley or one of those big free agents?
I got to tell you, after what we saw in the Super Bowl, easy to say goodbye to Thuney. He didn't win a single block, it seemed like. Although at tackle, he wasn't supposed to be
hurt,
playing tackle.
right?
No, he was
Oh, they
healthy. He was
moved
playing
over.
out of position,
Yeah.
but he just got mauled.
As Maggie mentioned earlier this morning, the Lakers and Warriors keep climbing up the Western Conference standings. LA alone in second this morning after its seventh straight win, 136-115 at home over the Pelicans. Head coach J.J. Redick.
We play hard. We compete. Tonight wasn't perfect with some of the execution stuff, but we more than made up for it with our effort at times.
LeBron scored 34 last night, becoming the first player with 50,000 points between the regular season and playoffs. Golden State got a 114-102 win at the Garden. They've won 7 of 8. They're the 6th seed at the moment, a half game clear of that play-in. So Steve Kerr's a proud head coach.
You know, on the road on a back-to-back against a great team, and kind of hanging in there when shots weren't going in the first half. Just liked how solid we were for the whole 48.
They outscored the Knicks by 20 over the last 24 minutes of that game to get the W. The Suns topped the Clippers 119-117 after trailing by 19 through 3. The Cavaliers extended their third double-digit win streak of the season to 11, 139-117 in Chicago. The Bucks topped the Hawks 127-121. Giannis had 26 points, 12 boards, 10 assists, and we got some drama in Orlando.
They're going for the win. Walter, 3, go! Down the bottom of the well. It's down the bottom of the well for Jacoby Walter with 0.5 of a second to go.
That's from Raptors Radio. Jacoby Walters 3, giving Toronto a 114-113 win over the Magic. Men's number 22, Texas A&M, snapping a 4-game skid in style, getting its first ever win over number 1, 83-72 over Auburn. 10th-ranked Iowa State came up short at home in overtime, 88-85 to number 23 BYU. That game actually in double OT. The Devils and Stars almost went to OT last night in Dallas.
7 seconds left. Here's Harley, his wrister. He scores! Thomas Harley! 3.9 seconds left. The Stars pull a rabbit out of their hat late.
Thomas Harley, the game winner in the dying seconds of regulation. The Stars 4, the Devils 3. And George Mason baseball scored 23 runs in the top of the third inning yesterday against Holy Cross. Those are the most runs scored in a single at-bat in NCAA history. 21 was the old mark done by Wichita State back in 84. Penn State the year before that. Mason won that game 26-6 in the end yesterday. Guys, back to you.
No mercy rule or anything?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
these are grown-ups.
What happened the rest of the game? Is 23 in one inning and then 3 runs the rest of the way?
Yeah. What do you mean they're grown? The World Baseball Classic has mercy rule.
That's the World Baseball Classic.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
Brazil beat China yesterday 12-2 in
Look
qualifiers.
at the eyes. Why are you so excited about this?
Because it's the World Baseball Classic. It's fun.
I've never seen many. I mean,
I didn't like that. That was off-putting. Your eyes got so big there. No thanks.
I like baseball.
Wait, the pros aren't playing though, right? This year?
Well, I mean, some of them are. Like the Colombian team had to qualify, and Gio Urshela was on that team. Julio Teran was also. I mean, like some of these countries, like some of the bigger countries, yeah, they did call some of the players that are playing in MLB.
Perloff, do you know who Gio Urshela?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pitcher, right?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
855-212-4227. Okay, lots to do. We're asking you, what is the most unpopular moment in the history of sports? We get back to you in a minute.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff on this fine Wednesday. We're asking you, what is the most unpopular sports moment of all time? We all had different, really, approaches to this one, Perloff. Yours was a bad referee call, the NFC Championship game, the Saints and the Rams, the no call specifically. Manny kind of went the same direction as you with Jim Joyce, the infamous umpire who robbed Armando Galarraga of a perfect game. Just stuff that really made your blood boil. I said the decision because LeBron James' decision to leave Cleveland, it spurned a whole city and area, state almost. The backlash from the owner was swift. People burned his jersey. And he had to turn heel, quite frankly, for a little bit. And it really didn't suit him. EJ went with the Baltimore Colts leaving in the middle of the night to go to Indianapolis. That was Jim Irsay's dad who did that. And Bogusch also went with a wrestling, that was the original Hulk Hogan turning heel, which had Jaws on the floor when it happened, Bash on the Beach. What about you? Let's go to Nadal, who's in Dallas. Nadal, the most unpopular moment in the history of sports was what?
Good morning. I don't know if I'm qualified to say of all time, but I'm just going to throw opinions out there. Number one, I told EJ I'm going to start with Dennis Rodman kicking the photographer, if you remember that.
That was unsavory. It really was, and Rodman had to apologize for it. I think he was suspended for it.
He was suspended 11 games and $25,000 fine, which is nothing. But just the look on that photographer's face, we see it in TV or movies, but in real life, to see that chilling look of pain and shock at the same time was uncomfortable, to say the least.
Yeah.
Another one, you mentioned LeBron with the city in the area. I have to go with Roy Williams leaving in the middle of the night to go to Carolina, leaving KU.
Ooh.
When he said specifically, I'm never going to leave, but Dean Smith said, the first time I asked if we want you, but now I need you. So Roy, he's a good old Carolina boy. He left. And we did not get over that for a few years. And then another one I'm going to mention, I heard Bogusch was a big soccer fanatic like me. I got to go with Zizou, Zinedine Zidane in the 2010 World Cup final.
Oh, the headbutt.
Headbutting Materazzi.
Yeah, 06 final. Nadal, 3 really good ones, and thank you so much for being patient weighing in there. We didn't do any coaches leaving, which he said Roy Williams leaving, and I remember that was a famous interview that he did with a friend of ours, Bonnie Bernstein, right after Kansas had lost the national championship game, and Bonnie, the story had come out that Roy Williams was going to leave to go to North Carolina, and Bonnie pressed him on it, and he got ticked off about it, and she was great and stood her ground because it was a legitimate story. It was a huge story at the time. You could have done Pat Riley leaving the Knicks was another one that devastated people.
Called him Pat the Rat.
Pat left the Knicks
Still is.
He left
For
for
the
the
Heat.
Heat. I don't know that story.
Yep.
Yeah, he was offered ownership stake in the Heat and just quit.
What about college? What about college football coaches?
Wait,
I feel like this.
Go back to one thing. I don't know this Dennis Rodman story at all. Was he a Bull or a Spur?
This was a Bulls when he kicked the guy.
No, I don't know that one.
Yeah, this was in Minnesota. I was pulling up the play because I actually wanted to have a sound.
Was it during the championship run? Obviously.
Yeah, it was during that three-peat. Yeah.
I mean, is the guy hurt?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. Like he kicks the guy after he falls into the stands, and the guy looks at him like, "Oh my god!" And then he starts grabbing his leg because he realized he was actually injured.
The Zinedine Zidane was a shocking moment. I think on par with Tyson biting Evander Holyfield's ear, which Sean in Oregon brought up earlier in the show. And he got ejected, obviously, immediately. And it just felt like such a disappointing, anticlimactic ending. Italy ends up winning the World Cup, obviously, right? It was Italy won the World Cup.
Italy against France in 2006 in Germany. But, I mean, the big thing also about Zidane getting shown red in that final was that was the last time we saw Zidane on the pitch. That was his last game of his career. This guy who was an illustrious career, won a World Cup with France back in '98, and he had the chance to finish his international career with a World Cup final championship as well, and he ended up just headbutting the Italian dude. And yeah, that was the last time we saw Zidane on the pitch.
Stunning, but now he's a coach, right?
Out of work, but yes,
could have done.
Was a coach.
Could have done some biting in the soccer realm too. That would have been fun.
Well, I mean, we do have some people that do bite. Luis Suarez.
Yeah, Suarez was a biter.
It still is. He's had 2 biting incidents. So I mean, there's something wrong with soccer players.
If you want to do ridiculous fights, how about Todd Bertuzzi in hockey too?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that guy.
There are a lot of times. We mentioned Rudy Tomjanovich hitting Kermit Washington. I think that was a mistake actually, but irrational fights out of nowhere.
Yeah, we went with unpopular. It was a little bit different. Unpopular moves, like where no matter who you are, what side you're on, you just hated watching it in the moment. James is in L.A. He's got another one. Good morning, James.
Hey, how's it going, y'all? Hey, I was listening to y'all, man. I'm trying to become an avid listener. I was going to say that, I started off with the restaurant thing. I said y'all left off Carl's Jr. and Wiener Schnitzel. And then y'all went to the other thing. I was gonna say Roddy Piper hitting snooker with them coconuts. That was a big thing back in my day. I'm with the old boy. That was we old school like that. But for me,
my favorite.
Yeah, for me it's the nip and tuck rule.
Oh, the tuck rule.
Yeah, for the Raiders that when Brady did that when they called it, they gave it to him. The NFL has always been against Al Davis anyway. And, for them to make that call on that play, I think that changed the course of history for the Raiders and the Patriots.
Well, the Raiders got back to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, James, no doubt. I mean, this is part of Brady's origin story,
Exactly.
No doubt. Oh, your radio's on. Well, thanks for finding our show. So little callback to earlier in the show, we were asking the question, if you actually had a fast food restaurant you could put in your house, like Davante Adams had the Taco Bell from his commercials, Taco Bell in the house, which fast food restaurant? We did not bring up Carl's Jr.
Nope.
Bad job by us.
I never had it.
I probably wouldn't put that in.
I've never had it either.
They had those fun commercials back in the day, right?
They did, like Paris Hilton and the sexy commercials.
Those commercials were something.
They were fun. They were fun to watch.
By the way, I love that he said Roddy Piper hitting Jimmy Snuka with coconuts. Meanwhile, Jimmy Snuka actually killed somebody and got away with it, apparently.
Yeah, that was real life.
According to all reports, that was complicated.
Yeah, didn't make the list. Didn't make the list.
Favorite wrestler as a kid by 50 miles. Superfly.
He's a wrestler that actually may not have turned heel ever.
He definitely did.
He did? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You guys want to keep going down memory lane?
Well, you know what? I was a little disappointed. We make this big deal about John Cena turning heel that EJ throws out in the middle of the show. Cena used to start out as a heel. I was like, what?
Yeah, but 20 years ago.
No, I can't even believe it. I thought John Cena came out with his jorts and was always like the good guy. I had no idea that he even started out that way. I was taken aback.
I believe his next appearance on Raw, if I'm not mistaken, is the anniversary of when he turned babyface, which is stunning. Like it's gonna be March 17th. He's gonna appear, and that was the time he turned babyface, and he was that for 22 years.
Man. And that brings it all full circle now, doesn't it? Thank you, DJ Stewart, Manny Rodriguez, Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan. You guys are awesome on the phones today. The Weedos, the coffee drinkers in the chat, doing a great job. Thanks for participating in the show. Just really, really fun stuff. Tomorrow we're back with a whole new menu of cool things to talk about. See you then.
You're in a